Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Today, I'm going to be joined by my good friend Patrick Burow. Patrick, how you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. How about yourself, Ken?
I'm doing very well, and our good friend Mr. Death Breath will be joining us here in a little bit. So while we're doing that, while we're waiting for Mr. Death Breath, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel so everybody can kind of have an idea on what's going on in your world, sir?
Well, my name is Patrick Burow. I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, very rarely with the trailer reactions, but mainly these days I do TV show and movie reactions where once every week I'll watch a movie and I'll edit it down into an elongated reaction and I'll give my quick thoughts afterwards. But at the moment, I'm going through a bunch of horror movies and everything that I've never seen. Recently, just last night, actually, I posted my reaction to The Hills Have Eyes 2 sequel released in 2007, and I was joined by a good buddy of mine. I posted that. I've got videos to Halloween Kills coming out because I'm from Australia. We haven't had our Halloween Kills embargo lift yet, unfortunately, because we don't get it to the 28th. But I was lucky enough to see it on the 5th of October, weeks ago now, and I'll have my review, my reaction over there soon. But I mainly just do movie reactions, TV show reactions. Actually, we've got the next episode of Chucky coming later today, don't we?
Yes.
What time is that coming out? How long from
2 hours
right
from
now?
now.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'll record my reaction as soon as we're done here then, because I'd like that to be up tonight because I was late to the party with the first episode because I had to figure out how the fuck I was going to watch it.
I totally loved the first episode.
It's so good. It was so classic Chucky. It felt like Child's Play 2.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but Glenn Glenda is involved in the new episode.
Yes, that's Kyle, isn't it? Glenn Glenda.
No, Chucky's son.
Oh wait, what the fuck? I thought you were talking about actor name.
No.
Is Billy Boyle returning?
As I don't know, but in the episode teaser I seen, Chucky was talking to the main character, and he was like,
I had a queer son.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I have a gay son, and he's like, and you don't care, and he's like, no, I'm not a monster.
I'm not a monster, Jake.
I love that, man.
Yeah, I actually rewatched Seed of Chucky because of that just the other day, and still an awful movie, but one of the best parts of that, surprisingly enough, is Billy Boyle as Mr. Death Breath is here.
What is going on?
Hold on, I have YouTube going. I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
Hey, you're good. Hey, while we're doing that, I know Patrick's answer. Someone just asked Saw or The Conjuring.
I don't know what's going on.
Saw.
I know your answer, Patrick. I know Patrick's answer. For me, Saw as well. Maya.
Can you blame me?
Hey, Patrick, Maya's here. She says, "What's up?" My buddy Daniel's here. What's up, Daniel? Nice to have you on the chat. I hope you guys really enjoy this episode. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's sick. I never seen that. Strange Monkey Reviews. Hello. I hope you totally enjoy this. Nathan says The Conjuring. Saw any day. My favorite horror franchise for Maya.
Yes.
Caleb, what about Saw or Chucky? Me and Patrick are going to disagree here because I'm 100% going with my dude Chucky.
You know what? If I was to put it between the two, if I was ranking horror franchises, surprisingly enough, Chucky would be a very close second.
Mm-hmm. See, Chucky is my favorite horror franchise. Okay, we got Mr. Death Breath back. How's that sound?
Good. Hey, sorry, I had my timer set for 5 o'clock, and I looked at it. It's 5:01, and I'm like, what the hell? And everything started. And hey, nice to meet you, Patrick. Right?
Yes, Patrick. Nice to meet you too, my friend.
It's awesome having you two here together. This is so cool. Two of my good friends. Real quick, I want to catch you back up.
I did see your comment on my Instagram about The Last of Us Part 2. I love that game. Dude, love it.
Dude, I'm going to say a spoiler here really quick. Actually, let me introduce myself. Hey, guys, Mr. Death Breath. I do spoilers for film reviews, celebrity interviews. Follow my channel. It's awesome. And follow Patrick. He's awesome. And Ken Sledge. He's awesome. These dudes are awesome. So thanks for watching. And if you're here for me, I appreciate you. And if you're here because of Ken, yeah, everyone's awesome here. So good. Now that's out of the way. Dude, I love that there's no clear, like you're right because you think you're right in the game, but you're also wrong because you're on the wrong side of the game. So it
shows what the apocalypse is actually like. There's no good people. It's just what you think are your right actions.
Right. It's like the person that kills Joel, are they bad? It's like they were justified. Joel was kind of a douche, but from Ellie's perspective, he was her dad. So it's like,
yeah. And look at the first game. How many fucked up decisions Joel made. He's not a good guy, but he might be the protagonist.
But he's a good guy in our perspective. We're playing as him. We're not playing as a Firefly.
It's perspective. That's the whole point of both Last of Us games.
I love The Last of Us. I love it. So much fun.
Are you guys into the show?
Do you guys like The Evil Within?
Yes.
I couldn't get into it. Why is my camera so... Are we good? Are we good?
I mean, I was disappointed with the first game. I think it's a fucking slog. I think the story sucks, but I think it's a fun, messy game. Yeah. And how can I not at least have an appreciation for it when it's made by Resident Evil's creator, Shinji Mikami? But Evil Within 2, incredible. One of the best video game sequels ever made. It's one of the few video game sequels that I think is an improvement over the original, like Resident Evil 4 was to the 3 previous games in the series.
Resident Evil 4 is freaking amazing. Except that
it's my favorite game of all time.
While walking backwards, you have to stand there as chainsaw guys.
Resident Evil 2 is the best. I'm just throwing that out there.
The
original or remake?
Yeah,
original.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say
the safety controls.
I don't mind tank controls, but the whole thing in Resident Evil 2 Remake where it was like, hey, we're going to have 2 different campaigns, but unlike the original where if you pick up this item or you do this thing in the original campaign, it doesn't affect the other one, fucking annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Before we get into this, Mr. Death Breath missed a little bit. What do you prefer, Saw or The Conjuring?
Whew. I'm going to get a lot of hate, but I go with Saw, man.
Yes, we did too.
Did we just become friends, Patrick? High five.
Okay, what about Saw or Chucky?
Okay, this is kind of a mixed bag. I love your poster, by the way. I loved that movie. I loved Spiral.
So did I.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?
So I went to a screening of what is it, In the Heights, invited by Warner Brothers. And then one of the actual workers at the cinema recognized me from the channel, and they're like, "Hey, we're setting up posters for Fast and Furious 9. Would you like the cardboard standout for Spiral?" Awesome. And I'm like, "Yes, please!" And they just gave it to me.
Gosh. Okay, answer your question, Ken. I like Chucky when he's funny. I don't take him as scary. He's never been scary to me. So I liked him in Bride, and I liked him in Seed. So comparatively, I can't really make a decision because I feel like they're too different. Yeah, I mean, because I like the humor aspects of Chucky, but with Saw, I like the gore and like the story, even though it gets convoluted. So I can't answer fairly. It doesn't feel right.
Well, I do got to say, Maya, Chucky is my favorite horror franchise. I strongly recommend you check it out. I think it's so amazing. Daniel says, why on top 10 all-time horror rankings don't I see Insidious more often? This is fair, but if you watch...
Only 2 of those movies are good.
Hey, the third one was pretty good, too.
That's what I mean. The first and the third are fucking
dude,
fantastic.
That's where I'm at, dude. I can't stand the second one. They ruined the freaking hag.
See, I did my top 10 favorite PG-13 horror movies, and that was number 1. So I think that Insidious definitely has, especially in the PG-13 world, Mr. Death Breath rocks. I completely agree. They are filming the Last of Us film literally right by my house. Maya, that is so cool. If at some point I don't see you peeking in through a window, I'm going to be extremely devastatingly disappointed.
Can you go get
Maya.
Pedro's autograph for me, please?
Get on as an extra, man.
Chris Marshall, what's up, guys? I love Chris. He's one of my best friends in real life, so it's really cool to have him here. Resident Evil 2 is the greatest. Okay, we're kind of caught up now. So what we're going to do is we are going to be ranking the Conjuring universe. This is not just the Conjuring films, but everything that comes along with the Conjuring universe, including The Curse of La Llorona, the Annabelle films, The Nun. So we have 8 movies to rank, and we are just going to go right down the line. So coming in at number 8 for me, which is mainly because of how much of a disappointment it was, because of how much I built it up for myself, and that would be The Nun. I went into this movie so excited because the idea of The Nun was so amazing to me, and the way that they captured in The Conjuring 2 was so scary. But then you go into this movie, and the cinematography is beautiful. It is a beautifully shot film. However, the story is so weak, and it feels like to me they went in with just, let's do a jump scare after a jump scare after a jump scare after a jump scare with no real line to really connect what's going on with the story. And like I said, this was a huge missed opportunity because the idea of the nun was so intense, and the character of the nun himself, whatever, is absolutely terrifying to me, because growing up, very religious, the nuns are supposed to be they protect you. You go to them for help and for advice, and to have so evil, and the way that the film ended up playing out was just a huge disappointment for me. So coming in at number 8 for me is The Nun. Now, before we continue, I do want to say a couple things real quick that I should have said right off the top. Number one, if you have not subscribed to either one of these gentlemen yet, I have their links right down here in the description. Click on their YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on a replay, subscribe to these dudes. They're two of my good friends. We talk quite often. Another thing I want to say, if you haven't subscribed to me yet, hit that subscribe button if you're here because of one of these gentlemen. Also, please be active in the chat. Tell us what you think, what you like, what you dislike. Part of the reason we do this is because it's an excuse for me to hang out with my friends, but also because we get to hang out with you guys and hear your opinions, and you get to share your opinions with us. And that means so much to all of us. That's the reason we're here too. So before I get to your guys' number 8, I want to catch up on the chat a little bit. Maya says, I know, Ken, I've got all of them on DVD. I just haven't gotten around to watch any. Let's have a Zoom watch party, Maya. We'll all watch them together. I think we can have a great fucking time with that.
With the episodes of the new series as they come out each week.
Wait, what?
The Nun is also my least favorite.
Oh, gotcha. I thought there was a Conjuring series. Like, what? That's cool.
My 8 is The Nun, and yes, everyone built it up, and it was a pile of shit. J Dev, I love you. Thank you for coming on, buddy. Tell Nick adjusted I said hi. All right, Patrick, you want to give us your number 8?
All right. My number 8. Now, when most of these movies started coming out, actually, the only movie of this series that came out when I wasn't in school is the new one, The Conjuring 3. So all these movies were released while I was still in school. Coming in at number 8 for me is Annabelle, released in 2014, I think it was. Annabelle was a movie I was really excited for the reason of I was in year 7 the year prior. I watched The Conjuring at a mate's house without my mother even knowing. And, I thought the Annabelle doll was creepy as shit. And I was so excited to see what they could do with an Annabelle film. And it featured Annabelle Wallis as well, who we just saw in Malignant, which I thought she was brilliant in. But unfortunately, this movie's script could not help it, nor could its direction. The direction is constantly extremely lazy. And I don't think it helps that this is from the same director who made movies like The Butterfly Effect 2, or Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or Wish Upon.
Writing's on the wall, man.
And it's funny enough that, even then this should have been fine because he served as a director of photography. This director, can't remember his name off the top of my head, John R. Leonetti. He was a cinematographer on the first Conjuring film. He was also a cinematographer on the original Mortal Kombat film. But he just doesn't know how to direct a film, it seems, or write a script, because this movie is incredibly messy. It's set up like a haunted house movie with some cheap scares. A lot of people rave about that one scene in the basement in the stairwell, but all I see with that CGI demon ghost thing is the big fucking blob demon that we get in Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. It doesn't look good. It's not scary. The entire movie is just like, oh, the popcorn is bursting. Oh, that's so scary. Oh, the sewing machine. Except it doesn't build any real suspense around the conduit that is Annabelle to create an atmospheric and fun movie. And because of that, and the direction and the script, the acting comes off worse than anything I've ever seen on fucking porn.
Oh, man.
He says, and I've seen some porn.
Oh, yeah, and I have. I'm still a teenager, all right? Of course I've seen some porn.
You just did the mic drop of that statement, dude.
So, number 8, Annabelle. Another thing I want to say, we are, when we get to our number 1, going to recap our 8 through 1 as well for anybody that comes in late. So if you do miss something, I promise we will. And after each one of us talks, I will go back to the chat so we can get your guys' opinion. Caleb says, I've never actually seen the Conjuring movies. The Conjuring is not my favorite franchise, Caleb, but I think that the movies are worth a watch. I think that... I just said The Nun was my least favorite. The Nun is still better than some of the other horror movies I've seen. It's not the worst horror movie I've ever seen. It's close, but I've seen worse. I've seen The Exorcist too, so it's not the worst I've ever seen, but I would definitely recommend you checking out The Conjuring, especially after you watch this list. We're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free, I guess, as we can, but you know how that goes. Maya says, let's do it, Ken. Awesome. I'm serious. We should all have a Zoom. You know what? Let's figure out a time where we can have a Zoom Child's Play 1 and we'll all just do it together. We'll have a great time.
Hell yeah.
The Main Penguin. I've never seen a Conjuring film. Copy and paste what I just said a minute ago. They're worth a watch, but it's not something I would, dive headfirst into. Annabelle is garbage, but not my least favorite. So we got someone that agrees with you. Sledgehammer seems like a genuinely nice guy, and he does live streams constantly with different people, which is great. Awesome work. You guys are all awesome and wish you well. Muhammad, thank you. That means a lot to me. I'm glad I have you fooled because I'm an actual douchebag.
I've never seen Goodfellas.
Oh, you need to see Goodfellas. Goodfellas.
I own the Blu-ray. There are so many movies I own the Blu-rays of. I just haven't seen like Seven or Pulp Fiction.
Oh, you haven't seen Seven or Pulp Fiction?
Oh, dude, listen. I think Pulp Fiction is a super overrated movie, but Seven is fucking gold. Seven's gold, man.
Awesome, but Seven is gold. I respectfully
Triple, I'm so sorry. Listen, Nick and Justin, two of my really good friends, are doing a live stream right now too, and they're live streaming Halloween 4. I'm sorry I'm doing this at the same time, but this is when we were able to do it with two of my other friends, and I don't want to take away from Nick or Justin. They are legit two of my best friends. I talked to them both through text today, so you know, we all want to do this together, and it sucks sometimes we can't, but you know, if you watch them or you watch me, either way, I prefer me. I'm just kidding. You know, they're two of my good friends too. So if I'm missing people because they're over at their stream, I understand and I respect it. Or watch us both. I'm cool with that. Human Centipede ranking.
Oh, I haven't seen any of them. That has to happen.
I've reacted to 2 of them on my channel.
I've seen the first one, and that's it.
The second one is one of the only movies to ever make me gag. It is.
Yeah. I read the description. I'm like, what?
The third one, though, is hilarious.
I've never seen it. I'll watch 2 and 3, and then we'll do a ranking. I promise you, I'll do it if you guys agree to come on with me.
I mean, I'll do it.
I did.
I'm in.
Okay.
I've seen them all before. The first one I actually don't think is that bad.
See, I think the first, I mean, I like the idea, but seeing someone shit in someone else's mouth is a little much for me. Ken, you have the kindest smile. Honestly, just wanted to let you know. Thank you, Maya. I appreciate you very much. Steph is here. Thank you. Okay, Steph, right? I'm going to tell everybody right now. Steph, that's an OG for me. Me and Stephanie grew up together. We've, been reconnecting as of late because of Coheed and Cambria and having conversation recently. Stephanie, it means so much to me that you're here. Thank you for coming. And yes, The Conjuring is based on real events. I want to throw that out there. This is my OG right here. This girl has had my back since I was like 14. So she was there when I was Kenny Sledge and had long punk rock hair.
Aww,
this is one of my best friends of all time. Patrick is my favorite YouTuber. Me too. And Mr. Death Breath. You are my 2 favorite YouTubers.
Nah, these 2 right here, they're better than me. They're better than me.
Not at all.
I don't post frequent enough. I don't post often enough to be anyone's favorite.
Dude,
no forgiveness, Ken. Oh, Triple, listen. I'll kiss you later. We'll make up. I promise. I love you. I'm so glad that you're here for a little bit.
I wish someone would kiss me.
Oh, me and my daughters had a daddy-daughter night.
Yeah. I did this just because.
My toenails are hooker red. I had to choose between blue and red. So I'm sorry, Jason 4 or 6. I'm watching tonight.
6.
CJ Graham's my favorite.
I don't like Friday the 13th, but 6.
Yeah.
CJ Graham and Kane Hodder. 2 of the goats.
So Mr. Death Breath, now that we are up to your number 8, what you got for us, buddy?
So I'm going to be honest with you, as I'm not going to agree with you guys at all right now. So I'm going to be the other voice that's going to be completely against you guys. So the worst film in the 8 films that they've made, for me, The Devil Made Me Do It. That was so boring.
I knew it!
It was terrible. From beginning to end, I'm watching it, and I'm like, 20 minutes in. Is this going to get better? 30 minutes in. Is this going to get better? The movie has 20 minutes left. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, bro? I'm like, why am I sitting here watching this? And I'm like, great, I get to review it and bitch about how much I hate it. And that's what I did. I was like, witches, it's like a little too aggressive, right? And then it's just so much, dude. It's like a court scene. Like, don't give me a court scene in a freaking ghost movie, bro. Like, oh my gosh, dude. It was just... I feel like at this point, like Patrick Wilson and Pierre Formiga are just coasting. They're like, yeah, man, we're going to rake in another $1 million in the next year and a half. So we're just going to give the bare bones performance and do this crappy block. Oh,
it's like Michael Caine and Jaws the Revenge all over again. At least they can buy that penthouse.
Exactly, Patrick. They were just there to collect the check. And I hate this movie. Like, I hate it so much. I hope there isn't a 4th one. But I do want to give credit to the Nazi scene. Because
they've already announced that there might be a 4th.
Again, here you go. I'll review it so I can bitch about it, but I do not like it at all. Terrible movie.
See, we are going to disagree a little bit because that's not even. We're going to disagree here a little bit. So I started last time. So Patrick, do you want to give us your number 7?
All right, my number 7 is Ken's number 8, The Nun, a movie I went in really fucking excited for. I loved Valak the nun in The Conjuring 2, and it was easily like she was my paralysis demon. She was my sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in theaters and being affected for weeks, just waking up in the middle of the night, still half asleep, seeing that nun in the corner of my room. So knowing that they were making a movie around her, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. That first trailer came out, shit my pants. It was so good. And then all of a sudden, we never got another trailer. All we got was that fucking teaser. And I'm like, hang on, why haven't we got another trailer? Except for a bunch of fucking TV spots. And then, you know, and it really amazes me this is as bad as it is, considering it's directed by Corin Hardy, who in real life is good friends with Edgar Wright. They went to film school together.
Damn.
And I'm like, what?
Way to miss the mark.
And like, it's not always about the director. The writing is a big part of this movie as well. Valak is barely in it. It acts like a haunted house again. And she's kind of just trolling them throughout the entire movie. Ooh, I'm just going to bury Damien Bashir and have him ring a bell to then let him out after giving a spooky jump scare. Like, and Valak as well. Like, Bonnie Aarons is right there. Why do you need to do a CGI demon when you've got her where she would put the makeup on and everything on like she did in The Conjuring 2? She looked fucking stupid. And there is one scene in this movie though that I think is masterful, and that is the chapel scene. The chapel scene is a masterpiece of horror direction. It is incredibly tense, suspenseful, and its epic high octane tone in that sequence is haunting. It's got some disturbing imagery as well, with like the cuts and the lashing on the back.
Totally.
It's a great scene. I just wish the rest of the movie was like that. It's boring. It's uninteresting. The script is garbage. It is a filler movie purely to serve as a purpose to be like, hey, you know that tape that you saw in the first Conjuring movie? Yeah, that's that guy, Frenchie. So that's the only reason I really feel it exists.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
I was going to say the ending is the one thing about that movie that I did enjoy. Mr. Deathbreath, before we get to yours, I want to go back. Patrick, you are my kind of guy. I agree. He's mine too. I enjoy the first Human Centipede as well. So Maya agrees with you. Caleb, sorry, but I got to step out. I got school tomorrow. School is definitely more important, Caleb. I hope you have a great day at school. Learn a lot. The Conjuring 3 is boring as fuck. Nathan, my dude, agrees. Ken, to these do yes, they do. Patrick Burow YT and Mr. Deathbreath. Follow them on Instagram for sure. This has nothing to do with The Conjuring, but the first scary movie in a long time I'm excited for is The Lamb. I do got to tell you, Steph, I've heard that it is more of a drama than a horror. I'm still going to watch it, obviously. The one I'm most excited for comes out next week, and that is Antlers. I think Antlers is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm very excited for that. Jay, thank you for stopping over for a little bit. I appreciate you swinging over with us for a second. So, Mr. Deathbreath, what about you? What comes in at number 7, brother?
Here we go. Number 7 is The Curse of La Llorona. That was just like the way you felt about the nun. It was the same thing, man. It's just like a ghost gets released. We gotta stop. It's just boring, dude. It's like, it's the point that the Conjuring universe is starting to play itself out, like the slasher genre did, you know, before we had the resurgence. It's just like, oh no, we find a mysterious box. Some dumbass opens it. Oh no, the Warrens have to come and save the day. Oh no, there's a connective tissue to the next movie that's coming out in 2 years. It's like they're like the Marvel of the horror universe, and I mean that in a bad way because I'm sick of Marvel too. So it's just nothing new. It's cool that they took the Mexican myth of La Llorona, which is great, but this film just didn't do it. It was boring and predictable. Like, oh no, don't look in the mirror because there's a blah. It's like, oh yeah, duh. It's like, come on, man.
Still better than that first episode of Supernatural though.
I will give you that. You know what? I'll totally give you that. No question. Right on. Yes, absolutely.
So that's your number 7. My number 7 is The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah.
The big complaints I have about this movie, honestly, is one, it's one of those slow burns that really never has the payoff, and 2, it takes place in California. Like, this is a Mexican thing, you know, like you leave this in Mexico, you know, like that was another thing for me that was really like, you're taking away from the heritage of this. That's like The Ring taking place in the United States. Oh, wait, shit.
Okay. That was a good movie, though. The sequels we don't talk about.
No, I do love The Ring. I do love The Ring. But with La Llorona, like I said, what's her name? From Scooby-Doo. She was good. You know, I liked her. I liked her better as Velma. But, you know, she was good.
Hot aunt in Spider-Man. Yeah. Milk.
Yeah. you know, it's one of those things where like I would have totally, you know, it is what it is. But to me, it was just one of those slow burns that never. The Curse of My Sharona was super forgettable. That is the best comment I have ever seen in my life.
Doesn't this movie also has a weird alternative title because they were like afraid to call it La Llorona because no one was going to go see it. So in countries like Australia, they called it the Weeping Woman. And I'm just like, wait, why? Because it's like
a fair translation, though. In all fairness, you know.
No, but like the whole folklore is well known over here. Still, I learnt about it in fucking school.
Oh, okay.
So and we still called it La Llorona. So I don't know.
Yeah, it really honestly just was not a good film, like at all. Like there was very little redeeming qualities of it, and if I hadn't been so excited for The Nun, I could potentially have put La Llorona below it, but my excitement for The Nun literally made me put it below. I was already subbed to Patrick, but I just followed you both on Instagram and subbed to Mr. Death Breath.
Thank you so much.
And I just followed you back, Maya.
I will follow you back right now.
We appreciate that so much. These guys are super legit. Follow them on Twitter as well. You'll appreciate that. Well, Mr. Death Breath doesn't have Twitter, do you?
I do, but I don't really. I'm really active on Instagram, and that's really it. And I'm
the opposite.
On Facebook.
Yep.
Oh, really?
I'll say I'm really active on both, and then Patrick is my Twitter buddy, and then Mr. Death Breath is my Instagram buddy. Like I had to keep going back and forth
but
between
I'm
Twitter and Instagram.
Awful at replying to comments and text messages, no matter what.
I feel that I suffer from that too. I mute everything. So I'll see a message like 3 days later. Like Ken's like, "Hey, you want to join this?" And I see a week later, "Oh crap! I look like a jerk."
Yeah,
I'm kind of the same.
You
I'm kind of the same because I'm so busy with everything else in my life.
So number 6. You want to give us your number 6, Mr. Death Breath?
Oh, you know it. Okay, my number 6, Animal Creation. I don't know where to begin with this movie, but it's just awful. It's boring. It's uninteresting. The scares are predictable. It's just like not everything needs a spin-off. Not everything needs a trilogy. Like that's if you're gonna notice that's a theme that I have with this universe. Most of these films do not need to exist. And Animal Creation is on there. There's nothing to say about it because there's nothing good about it. I would just pretend it didn't exist. Period. I hated it.
Oh, see, that's a little bit higher on mine. Medi says, "What's your least favorite horror icon?" Mine is Jaws because I hate all the movies. Wow, I love the first Jaws.
Dude, the first one's a masterpiece.
The first one's a masterpiece, especially when you know the production issues I had. In film school, my my midterm essay that I had to write was actually an analysis on everything that went wrong to the success of Jaws.
I'd love to read that if you send that to me. That sounds amazing.
And Jaws 2 was actually not that bad either. Although when you learn about the issues on set, it's pretty fucking funny knowing about the shit between Roy Scheider and the director.
Yeah,
they had to communicate through sticky notes because they got into punch-ups on sets.
Right. And see, for me personally, my least favorite, even though everybody loves him, is probably Leppy Boy. I'm not a Leprechaun fan. It's something that's really never done it for me.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you. His stuff is boring and campy, and it was campy from day one.
The only thing he ever did that was cool was the fucking pogo stick kill. That was sick.
I love Leppy. I'm sorry, I enjoy all those movies except Origins. I enjoy all those movies because they're just so fucking stupid, and they make campy cheese horror series.
I respect that. It's just like it's fun schlock. Right. I totally get that.
Yeah.
So, who's your least favorite, Patrick? Is it Jigsaw? Is that your least favorite?
Shut up. In all honesty, it's probably Jason because, look, Jason...
Don't say that about Jason.
Jason is menacing, and I like the character, and it's not about the character that makes him my least favorite. It's the fact that there is not a single movie in that franchise that is fucking good. And I find all of them obnoxiously boring. Aside from Jason X, which is not a good movie, but it's entertaining and dumb as shit.
I'll agree with you there.
I'm sorry, I'm not a Jason fan, but I do love Michael. I do love Freddy. I do love Chucky. I won't say Hellraiser. I won't say anything about Razorhead or whatever his fucking name. Pinhead. There we go. Because I've never seen it. I've never seen a Hellraiser movie.
Hellraiser 1 and 2 are fucking phenomenal, Patrick.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I've heard that. So good, man.
The guy who played I learned recently that the guy who played Pinhead in the first 8 Hellraiser movies was the father of the cannibals Sawtooth, One Eye, and Three Finger in Wrong Turn 5.
Oh, no,
Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley, yeah. And
I
I'm
heard
like,
he's a super nice
why?
guy.
See, I do got to agree with some of the chat real quick. Not Jason, no. Jason is a badass. Damn, the final chapter eraser. I agree. I'm a huge Jason Voorhees guy. Huge. But let's get back, Patrick, real quick. What is your number 6?
Did you do your number 6?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, he started us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to go back to you, Ken?
Didn't I already do mine? I did not.
You did not. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, mine is Annabelle Comes Home.
No.
This is one that the only part that got me in this was the dad in the basement. That's the only part for me, you know, when you did this to me, like that got me. There's no death in this movie at all. There are no kills throughout the whole movie. The werewolf is cool. A really good friend of mine, actually, Douglas Tate, played the werewolf in this film. So that's really cool. And Doug, I'm so sorry, but this is it's not my cup of tea. And I got to throw out a shout out. I just did the other day on Nick's channel as well. But Doug has now played 2 of my 3 favorite horror icons. He was Jason as he walked out of the water with Freddy's head during Freddy versus Jason.
Awesome.
And he was the stunt double for The Shape in Halloween Kills.
The SCV scene, I asked him and he told me that. And that's like one of the best scenes in Halloween Kills. The SCV scene is just like, God,
that's
dude.
That's Douglas Tate.
Really quickly with Halloween Kills, no spoilers or anything, but that one death near the end, not the ending before the whole mob thing, but that one in the house thing.
Wait, which one?
He can't really talk about it right now.
Okay, how about this? Shotgun or pistol? That's all I want to know. And you tell me that, I'll know what you're talking about. One person had a shotgun. Pistol. One person
how about
had
this?
A shotgun.
Big or little?
Pistol.
Okay, yeah, that death was jacked. Yeah.
My favorite death in the entire movie.
That was great. Yeah, that was great.
And then that one earlier on with the what is it? The pistol and I'm gonna say pistol and door.
Yeah, and then and then that ending. I just want to say the ending with Michael going full like juggernaut. That's it. That's it.
I talked to Ken about the ending prior because I'm still bound by embargo being in Australia. I can't fucking talk about it until the 28th, which I'm pissed about because I saw it on October 5th.
I saw it on the 12th.
Yeah, I saw it back on October 5th and I'm still not allowed to talk about it. I'm so pissed. But I talked to Ken about it prior and I'm like, this is the Empire Strikes Back of Halloween films. It is.
Until we get to Halloween Ends, we find out it was all hallucination. Where did you get your shirt at, Mr. Deathbreath?
London 1888. Dude, you have the coolest shirts, dude. I still can't figure out how to use my.
That's Dream Warriors, isn't it? Dream Warriors.
Yeah, even says Dare, like.
Yeah.
That's amazing. My favorite icon is Chucky and then Sam from Trick or Treat. See, for me, it's definitely
Chunky.
For me, it's Chucky and Jason. Those are my 2. We did go to see that in the theater. Friday the 13th was one of the first franchises I started collecting. Y'all know spoilers. I said it. I said no spoilers. Patrick, let's get to your number 6. Like I said, mine was Annabelle Comes Home. I got a little off track there, but because I started talking about Doug. But like I said, the dad part, there's no kills in the movie whatsoever. And they gave us so much in such a little bit of time that they weren't able to capitalize on, whether it was the blushing bride or the thing with the coins in its eyes. Like there were so many that we could have taken advantage of that we never did. Kind of like the Crooked Man from the Conjuring 2.
Yeah.
We are getting a movie for the Crooked Man, though.
I've been hearing that for a while. I'll believe it when I see it, my friend.
I'm on the fence if it's going to be good or not. I don't know.
Patrick, do you want to give us your number 6, brother?
This is a movie I attended the Brisbane premiere for. I went. They were, a bunch of, paranormal investigators there talking about the film and everything, being like, oh my God, and everything. And they asked me about it after the film. I walked out and I was like, The Conjuring, the devil made me do it fucking sucked, man. I remember going to the fucking Brisbane premiere. I ended up having my PR rep from, Warner Brothers there. I had those paranormal investigators there, like some real life paranormal investigators. They came, they asked me about the film. I'm like, wow, I don't think I've ever been so fucking bored watching a Conjuring film. Like Annabelle and the Nun were bad, but this, I think the most boring part about it is that it never elaborated on the subject matter nor the ideas it sets up. Because the idea of like this court case around like now a satanic ritual is a fun idea. that could be creepy. And we've seen movies like that that can be effective. Like that movie Veronica that Netflix was like, oh, only 1 in 100 people have ever been able to sit through the entirety of it. Not a great movie, not as scary as people made it out to be, but that's how you do that sort of concept effectively. Whereas this, on the other hand, was like, hey, let's have Lorraine have superpowers and give her like the ability to like, oh, this is the blade that was used, or like, in The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, she sees visions, or she goes into the mindset of someone who was a part of those events. But now she's traveling through space and time and being an outsider looking into the events that took place. I'm sorry, what the fuck? That was never a rule set up. She would look through the mind to get an idea of what's going on, to get under the surface, as conveyed at the beginning of The Conjuring 2, as conveyed when she fell down the walls in The Conjuring. In this, she's like traveling through space and time with a vision as if it's Dr. fucking Who or something. Stop it. This makes no sense. It's not scary. Like, I think the best part of the movie was the villain. She was cool. She was creepy, but there was not enough of her. Having fucking Dickathor from Lord of the Rings in there as the father of the villain, use him more, especially for his purpose and relationship to the villain. But when it's revealed, I'm like, oh, okay. I don't care. And it's really sad because Michael Chaves, the director, is clearly talented behind the camera in this movie and The Curse of La Llorona, which we'll talk about in a little bit on my part. But Michael Chaves is a talented director. This movie proves that. His opening scene, the body contortion stuff with the kid from WandaVision, the best opening scene in any of the Conjuring universe movies, in my opinion. That was fucking phenomenal. That was creepy. And I'm like, okay, is this really how the movie's going to be? It continued. I'm like, no, it's just going to be your run-of-the-mill, slappy sort of fucking bullshit Goosebumps movie. Don't care. And nothing against Goosebumps, by the way. I love the Goosebumps books in that first movie. But this felt like it should have been a made-for-TV Goosebumps story rather than a Conjuring story, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can see that too. So, did we all do our number 6s already?
We did, yeah. So that means it starts you off now.
Yeah. So my number 5 is Annabelle.
Okay.
The first Annabelle. This is another one that like I said, it was fun, and you got the jump scare of the little girl running and turning into the adult when she runs through, and having that cult, that whole story going on. But besides that, there's really nothing too memorable about this movie, in my opinion. It's one of those ones that I watched it, I thought it was okay, but then if you wanted to go back and talk about it 2 weeks later, there's really not much I can remember about the movie even now. And for a movie that was built up so much after we had seen the first Conjuring, that really, really bummed me out. And that's the thing about this franchise I could say is every time a new one comes out, I'm like, okay, this is going to be it. This is going to be the one that puts it back on track. And then I watch it and I'm like, God damn it. I wasn't the one to put it back on track. So, and the Conjuring 3 is the first one that, actually, you know what? The Curse of La Llorona. I didn't go see that in theaters either. I didn't see that one or Conjuring 3 in the theaters. I just didn't feel the need to go out and do so. So those are the ones that I was just like, it is what it is. I don't think that they're terrible. I don't think I want to say this too. Now, from Annabelle Comes Home, from 6 to 1, I don't think any of these are bad films. I mean, I could watch them again. The Nun and The Curse of La Llorona, I really have no desire to watch again. But 6 through 1, I could, if they were on, I wouldn't be shitty about it. So, number 5 for me is Annabelle. How about you, Patrick?
Right. I want to elaborate as well on the fact that, like, my 1 through 5, I could watch any of these movies again. I own them all on Blu-ray, and even like The Nun, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and Annabelle, like, they're not good movies in my opinion, but I can laugh at them if I'm watching them with mates, especially if I'm drinking. And I rewatched all these movies over the last week. Like, I took the time to rewatch all of them leading up to this, and my opinion hasn't changed since I saw The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Like, it's the exact same list I did in that video a few months ago. So, hi, I'm giving my same list again. But it's just like, these are all our opinions, and if you disagree, that's completely fine, because film is subjective. It's like the whole thing with Halloween Kills. I'm seeing a lot of discourse at the moment where, like, if you enjoy Halloween Kills, you're not a Halloween fan. If you don't like Halloween Kills, you don't understand what Halloween is. Like, shut up. Just shut up.
All that elitism.
No, exactly. And personally, without saying anything because I can't, I thought Halloween Kills was fine. I enjoyed it. I can watch it. I just don't think it's the best, but it is the third best Halloween film. Not saying much though. But
we'll see.
Like
I watched it, and there are 12 Halloween films. Halloween Kills in my franchise ranking is number 6. It's literally right in the middle of the franchise for me.
Number 2 for me. Number 2.
Yeah.
So Halloween and then Halloween Kills. That's where it's at for me.
Which one though? Halloween Rob Zombie?
The original.
78, or
Rob Zombie doesn't exist, dude. That doesn't exist in this universe.
See,
I actually like the first Rob Zombie movie. I think
again, to me, Halloween Kills, it was just okay. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to spoil because my good friend Maya has yet to see the film. But to me, it was just okay. It's middle of the road. There are good points to it. There are bad points to it. Evil Dies Tonight. I don't know if you guys know, but that was a hidden subliminal message in the movie. They may have said it once or twice, but Evil Dies Tonight. So if you watch it again, try to listen for them saying Evil Dies Tonight. They say it once or twice in the film. I don't know if you guys noticed that the first time you watched it.
Yeah. It's a part of the stand. It's a part of this. Fuck off. I know that's a joke now.
Yeah, me too. I was like, wait, they say it a lot.
Wait. I was like, wait, I've also listened to the entire soundtrack now, and in the Halloween theme this year, like the orchestral version of it, like the really big vamped up cinematic one, it's actually a part of it in the background going, Evil Dies Tonight. Like,
got the beat going.
Actually, it's good. I've been listening to it while driving recently. It's going to be good for my drive up to fucking Nambour next weekend for the the Australian premiere of The Possessed, which features Wolf Creek's John Jarrett, which I'm really excited to meet him again. I met him at the premiere of Burow a few years ago.
Nice.
I got invited as VIP to the Australian premiere red carpet.
Hey, before we get in, I want to catch up on the chat real quick, Patrick. Before we get into your number 5, Goosebumps show is way better than The Conjuring 3. 5, Annabelle Comes Home didn't scare me at all, and the demon looked really stupid. I completely agree. Mayo's telling us to shut up because she has not seen Halloween Kills yet.
Well, don't watch Party on Peacock.
Erased Rob Zombie's Halloween from his memory.
That's right, I did. I hate his dialogue. His dialogue ruins every movie.
No, you don't like. What do you mean? You don't like Laurie with the bagel going? Oh yeah, you like that? Laurie.
Halloween Kills is my favorite because the only one I watched in theater opening night. See, and you know what? I want to touch on something real quick before we get into Patrick's number 5. Freddy's Dead is a shit movie. It is a bad movie.
It's funny.
But my uncle took me to see that in 3D opening night. So I will always have a soft spot for Freddy's Dead because it reminds me of kicking it with my uncle, watching it in 3D when I was 6 years old, being super excited. So, Mehdi, I completely get why you're saying that watching it in the theater opening night has an effect on how you feel about the film, because that's how I feel about Freddy's Dead. I get it. It's a shit film, but I will defend it because my uncle took me to see it opening night, and it made me super happy at that young age to say I'm going to see a Freddy Krueger movie. And I remember going to school on Monday 2 days later and just telling all my friends, like, dude, Freddy blew the fuck up and his face came right in my face. It was crazy. So, Patrick, you want to give us your number 5, brother?
My number 5 is Annabelle Comes Home. Look, I watched this movie the other day. It's on Netflix, and it's just okay. I forget about it the moment I finish watching it every single time. But while watching it, I'm like, it's kind of there. Like it's not really all that scary, to be honest. And like, I have a massive pet peeve whenever a movie is like, hey, let's just have mystical fog to create atmosphere. Like, it's even a problem of mine with the first Saw movie in the fucking warehouse sequence with Detective Singh. And I'm a massive Saw fan. It was my first ever horror film I ever watched. But even that's really fucking stupid. Yeah, Ken, we talked about this. But like, even that's really stupid. That's a pet peeve of mine. And it's throughout the entirety of this goddamn movie, like that scene outside where like the character who's like trying to seduce the girl and everything with like
has balls.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you see this fucking like creature in like the fog or whatever coming after, and he's like, ah, and I'm like, really? And like, there's some cool cinematography in this movie, but that's really all that's memorable. Unfortunately, I just don't really remember it all too much. I don't know.
That's but when you have no deaths and very little scares in a movie, to me, that's really, really boring.
Yeah, and like a horror movie doesn't necessarily need to have deaths to be effective, but at the same time, it does help elevate the consequences of the threat.
Totally.
Absolutely. I want to feel like there's something evil going to happen to the people there.
Which is something I felt in Halloween by Rob Zombie.
What?
Mr. Death Breath, you haven't given us yours yet, have you?
No.
Okay, hold on. Before you do, I want to catch up. The only Freddy I can't watch is the 5th one. Listen, tomorrow night, I'm being joined on live.
I agree with that.
With
I hate that movie.
Jay Krieger of the Daily Horror Habit podcast and by Josh Eppard, the drummer from Coheed. They're going to be on here with me tomorrow night. And
tell them I said hi.
Yeah, we're going to be ranking our top 10 Nightmare on Elm Street deaths.
Is that Dream Child?
Dream Child.
Yeah, that's what Super Freddy is.
No, Super Freddy is in 6.
I hate the It's like going to the DMV when I have to watch that movie. It's painful.
But I'm saying, like, in that movie, when Greta's getting fed to death at that table, that will be on my list tomorrow night if you guys want to join. That is awesome. Jamie Lee Curtis's Lori doesn't deserve what Rob Zombie did to her. I agree, Mayo.
Agreed.
Daniel Harris returned, but it is really weird seeing a girl that we saw grow up as Jamie, naked and brutally murdered while naked or attacked in that first movie and in that second movie. Although,
hey, what about that?
Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett, though, was amazing.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
That made me cry, man. Like, oh, hold on. I want to address this. I know this is a joke, but I want to address this being real. I haven't seen any Nightmare on Elm Street movies either. I'm a fake horror fan.
You are not a fake horror fan. You just haven't been introduced.
When people say that, to me, it's you gotta have love for the genre. Just because you've never seen Psycho or Nightmare on Elm Street or Child's Play, those are just movies. That's not the genre as a whole.
Exactly.
And I see that a lot right now, especially during October. And it's a huge pet peeve of mine. You have a lot of people that are watching horror movies. Then you got people like us that watch them all year. And you got shitty people like us that are like, we watch horror all year round. You're not a real horror fan. Watch it at Halloween. Yeah. And it's like, you know what? I eat every single day. Every day. Yeah. I eat 3 times a day most of the time. But when Thanksgiving comes, I celebrate the fuck out of it. That doesn't mean I'm a fake eating fan. So, I mean, these people that are watching horror movies, embrace them. Let them come in. We want to keep them past October.
Elaborating on what you said on the stream.
Embrace them. Bring them into the fold. Tell them these horror movies are just as scary in January. Check it out and watch them with us.
And elaborating on what you said with Cody and forgive me for not remembering his name. Fuck, I'm having a blank right now. But you said in that stream while I was watching it, horror is what you make it. No matter what movie it is, you can watch any movie, even a full-on action movie like Aliens or Predator, are regarded as horror in their own right. There are elements that make them horror film. Horror might have its genre by the studios and everything, but it's what you make it. It's the same thing with Die Hard being a Christmas movie. 100%. Yeah, sure.
Yep.
The studio says it's a Christmas movie. The director says it's a Christmas movie, and so does Bruce Willis. But there are people out there who don't renounce it as a Christmas movie.
Bruce Willis actually said it wasn't a Christmas movie. He denounced it.
Exactly. He denounced it, but the studio and the director say it is. But again, a Christmas movie is what you make it. A horror movie is what you make it. A Halloween movie is what you make it.
100% agree. I couldn't agree more.
Don't discredit someone for their opinion, even on that.
Right.
You just don't.
What we were talking about The Day After Tomorrow. I totally feel like that's a horror movie, end of the world movie. That scares the shit out of me. And Jay's right. Like we were just talking about, you don't need death. Poltergeist, 0 deaths, scary as hell.
When the
guy's pulling his face off in the mirror. But you see, that's the difference. No, it didn't have any deaths, but it was suspenseful and it was absolutely bone-chilling terrifying. You don't need deaths, again, for sure.
Yeah.
And then Freddy legit scared the fuck out of 10-year-old me. Freddy legit scares the hell out of 35-year-old me. Like, Freddy was always the one that got me, man.
Freddy doesn't phase 19-year-old me.
Very true. Have you guys seen the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Universal Monsters crossover from NECA? They look sick. If you guys haven't seen them, they look so dope. Wizard of Oz was scary as fuck. You want to know something? Yes, it was. Those monkeys scared the hell out of me.
There's a hanging munchkin in the background.
I am having...
I heard about that.
Here coming up soon, I'm doing a top 10 movies from non-horror films that scared me. The Wizard of Oz is on there. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is on there.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. Well, for me, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the large Marge scene scared the shit out of me as I was a kid.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but that was just puberty.
No, you know what? Who Framed Roger Rabbit to end really did scare me when he's like, when I killed your brother, I looked like.
Oh no, that movie
like,
just scared me because that's when I was discovering what puberty was. I was discovering my manhood when I watched that movie.
Oh my gosh, your manhood! Wow, the choice of words right there, man.
I have no filter. I don't give a shit.
It's all good. It's just hysterical. I love it.
Jay said he's in love putting that list together. Let's all get together and do it. Top 10 scenes from non-horror movies that scared us. I think that'd be so much fun. But Mr. Death Breath, you want to give us your number 5 Conjuring movie?
I have to agree with you, Ken. Annabelle. It's just the spin-off that we didn't need. I didn't like anything about it. And I do want to say this because everyone said that you guys would happily watch your top 5. I would not watch my top 5. I would watch my top 4 and enjoy them. I don't, in terms of like the movies I listed, they're painful to watch and they're so boring that I'd rather be doing something else. And I also want to agree with Mebby Webby that Dream Child is one of the worst movies ever made. It's up there with The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. So yeah, it's Annabelle because it's just there's nothing redeeming about it. There's nothing positive about it. The pacing is terrible. The acting is terrible. The story is terrible. The visuals are terrible. It doesn't hold my interest. There's nothing good to say about it. It's a horrible experience. It's Atkins' torture.
Unlike Halloween.
I absolutely agree with what Jay just said. Jay said Annabelle's a great concept, but the movie fell short. I completely agree with that. That's the perfect way, Jay. That's the perfect way to word it. Great concept, the movie fell short. That's how I feel about The Nun. Great concept. Yeah. The movie just fell completely short for me. All right, so we are up to number 4. We are halfway through the list, and we are starting now with Patrick. What comes in at number 4 for you, brother?
Oh, the most controversial one, which has led to a lot of bullshit in my comment sections.
Let's hear it.
I am someone who really likes, borderline loves, no, I wouldn't say love, but really likes, owns the Blu-ray, and does give positive grade to The Curse of La Llorona. I really enjoy that movie. Is it the scariest movie? No. Does it have a lot of cheap jump scares?
Yeah, I left my own chat because of that.
You're welcome. But at the same time, I think that there is some moments in there with some pretty commendable tension. That moment in the hospital where you had like that mirror in the hallway reflecting and you see her slowly walking down to the kids. Brilliant. That scene in the attic where you see the set just move everything out of the way and you see her standing there. Brilliant. You see her crying in the normal form. Then the tarp gets taken off of the the mirror. Although it's predictable, it still catches you off guard. There are moments where it does follow through with its scares because it has some good build-up with some great production design, a cool-looking monster that is faithful for the most part to the folklore. That opening scene is amazing. I love the look of that opening scene. It is very, very cool. I think that the performances, while the script isn't great, while I think it's just, I think that the performances are good. I think Michael Chaves once again proves himself to be a good director with a great visual eye and style. I think that this is a very fun horror movie. I don't find it boring, and that's thanks to the performances. And what makes me care about these characters isn't necessarily development, but the situation they are in. Sometimes I'm more connected to characters by situation than characterization itself. That's why I love the Resident Evil games so much in their characters, like Leon in Resident Evil 4, or Claire in Resident Evil 2, or anyone in Resident Evil 1, or Jill in Resident Evil 3. I don't care about them because of their characterization, because there's borderline none there. But the situations they are in and makes you care about them and love these characters. It's the same thing here in The Curse of La Llorona. For that, I find this to be a very fun, very memorable movie. The scenes like the umbrella scene, fucking stupid, admittedly. I hate that scene. But it's those payoff scenes where it's just like, oh, let's just have a cheap jump scare that annoy me. But everything else surrounding the movie, I think is fine, although underwhelming in the long run. I still enjoy it, and I do own it.
See, again, it's one of those movies that I think growing up in a dominant Mexican family and hearing stories of La Llorona when I was a kid and then having it take place in California just really put a bad taste in my mouth. I think I should have to go into it with an open mind. But I think it's another one of those movies where I just expected so much more than I actually got. So that's the big thing for me. Not missing much. A few too many jump scares, but it was scary. Effective storytelling overall. Boy just threw out a Resident Evil 4 reference. This is my chat.
It's my favorite video game of all time. Hey, you guys say you're Resident Evil fans? Look what I got my hands on.
What?
Oh, no way!
No.
Yeah.
Dude, where? How?
I ended up getting it online from, Etsy. I ended up actually getting them made by Capcom themselves, and they actually sent them over. You can literally get them online.
Wow.
I'm going to have
They're
to
like
get
little
them.
replicas. And
J-Dev says, I love the Resident Evil game. So let me ask you guys real quick before we continue the countdown. What do you think of the new Resident Evil film coming out? Have you guys seen the trailer yet?
These are the ammo boxes from RE4.
Oh, it looks terrible. I thought it was a Netflix series. It looks so bad. It's like, really? Visually, like, it looks awful. I thought it was going to be a Netflix streaming. I'm like, oh, this is cool. It'll be for Netflix. I'll accept it. It's like, really? This is what we're getting? It's like, really? It looks so horrible. Like, it looks like I'll watch it to review it, and I might love it after watching it, but it looks awful.
You know that meme template we have already where it's like, what movie are you defending like this? That's me for Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City already. Granted, the title fucking sucks.
Listen, I'm not laughing at you guys, but this is the best comment I think I've ever had on a stream. I guess that's cool, but you guys ever played Mario Party 8?
No, I played Mario Kart.
That's awesome. The new Resident Evil looks like crap, to be honest. I agree with J-Dev. I think it looks good. I'm very, very excited for it. Hopefully they learn from the other Resident Evil movies. But I am one of the people that did not like any of the other Resident Evil movies.
Neither did I. I fucking hate them. Paul W.S. Anderson, go suck a dick. Go cast your wife in some other fucking movie. But don't make another Monster Hunter movie. Do not ruin another one of my beloved video game franchises from Capcom.
Right.
If you do Dino Crisis like you're planning on doing, I'm going to fucking throw myself off a building.
I liked the first 3 Resident Evil movies. The first one was solid. The second one was okay until the last act. And the third one was the least before it just completely lost me. But I have to say, like, the first one was actually really entertaining. I actually really liked the first one a lot. I loved it.
See, I remember walking out of the first one sad. Legit. Like, I walked out of it like...
You know, the movies are bad when Resident Evil 4 directly makes a sequence in the game making fun of those fucking movies with the laser corridor sequence. They literally made that sequence making fun of Resident Evil.
That was one of the best sequences in the movie. I loved... Okay, you know what? I love Resident Evil 1. I enjoy Resident Evil 2. And Resident Evil 3, I like it enough to watch it, but I pretty much hate it after that. So I don't hate the series. I just hate pretty much everything after 3.
All right, so we just turned this into a two-way chat. How you doing, Patrick?
Hey, how you doing? Anyway, I'm going to defend the trailer really quick for this movie. Side rant. If you look at the VFX in the movie, freeze frame it, and you will notice that the VFX actually don't look that bad. It's a lot of motion blur and lighting issues. I did a breakdown, which I never uploaded because I didn't need the discourse on my channel with the hate towards the movie already. The hate towards the actor for Leon and Jill, fuck right off. The look and the ethnicity of a character doesn't make the fucking character. What do people not understand about this? I think Leon, actually the actor might do a good job because that moment in the trailer where he's like, shall we go? He's very snappy. He's very witty and does portray Leon the way he is from the fucking games. He's a very witty, very snappy character who loves Raccoon City. And people are like, oh, it doesn't show that in the trailer. No fucking shit. It's a trailer.
Yeah, totally.
Like, the lickers are practical, except for that wide shot. That close-up shot is a practical puppet that they made on set.
That is something I'm very excited about.
The G-Virus infected William Birkin, his design is amazing. It's just the warm to cool color lighting from the precinct to the fire outside that is a little bit conflicting. And the small eyes on him, a little bit, But otherwise, if you look at it, they've got the pin light on the eyes on his shoulders, the detail and the reflections of lighting on a fully CG rendered model of the G-Virus infected William Birkin. Spoilers to you who haven't played Resident Evil. If you haven't, what are you doing? The games have been around since 1996. But G-Virus infested William Birkin looks great. We got to look at our Sherry Birkin in the trailer. Looks great. We got to look at the orphanage. Looks great. I don't understand the hate for this trailer because the sets, the production, this looks like it has been made by someone who is a fan of the games.
Okay, so let me jump in real quick, okay? So before you guys rip my head off, and it's fine, I do want to say that that's my impression of the trailer. So let me explain. There's been movies I've seen that I hated the trailer. I'm like, oh, this, okay. Example here, Captain Marvel, everything about it seemed awful. Everything going into it seemed awful. The trailer seemed awful. I actually really loved the movie. So I can feel the way I feel about Resident Evil right now, but keep in mind, like you said, you think it looks good, I think it looks terrible. But they're going to keep fixing those effects until the film comes out. And when it comes out, it'll look 10 times better. Like even Ang Lee's Hulk looks better than it did when they made the trailer. It was still terrible, but better than the trailer. So
I was waiting for Mr. Deathbreath to be like, hold on, let me just say this. Fuck you guys. Let's catch up on the chat real quick before we continue. I really liked the second one, but couldn't stand Alice. I think that's a running theme. The first one started out good. 10 minutes later, trash. See, I've never seen these. These are good. Have you guys seen these?
Yeah,
they're really good.
Enjoyed them. Yeah,
they're really good. Vendetta in particular is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
That sequence with the Lickers versing the Tyrant. Holy shit! Oh, made Resident Evil Patrick happy.
They were really well done, really entertaining.
And what is it? The new series as well. What was it called again? I don't remember, but that was really good as well. It was just too short.
I turned it off after 10 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ivan agrees with you, Mr. Deathbreath. The two movies are fun, even though they didn't follow the plot. The CGI looks terrible. Have you seen that truck scene? Looks so CGI that I've seen in the 80s.
I also need to point out that this is just a trailer, and the movie hasn't got its final screen lock yet. These are things that will be fixed before the movie. Hopefully, not always, but at the same time, like a lot of people complaining about the story. Why is Chris talking to Claire? Let me point something out to you. Harry Potter is not 100% accurate to the books. Lord of the Rings is not 100% beat by beat accurate to the books. Things need to be changed to fit the movie. But be happy we're getting characters like Lisa Trevor, that we're getting characters like Wesker faithfully with actors like Tom Hopper, who is brilliant.
That looks awesome. I'm so about that casting.
Oh my God. And like Brad Vickers is in it. And okay, how many of you can really tell me you recognize that the guy when Chris pulls the Zippo and everything, and it's the zombie coming out of the fucking shadows? How many of you can tell me that you're a Resident Evil fan enough to tell me that was Richard Eichen? How many of you will notice that? They actually did that. They actually had shit from the games. That shot from the first Resident Evil game where the zombie turns his head, that iconic shot, is in the fucking trailer.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That did
Itchy tasty. Give me all of it. I don't care. Even if it's a bad movie, at least I know this was made by someone who gives a shit about the games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for the rant.
I am going to watch this. And you know what? I'm going to be doing a review of Antrim on the channel here in the next couple weeks because Jay has been asking me to do this for a while. I'm going to do a review of Antrim. That's hilarious. I'm going to be doing a review of Antrim here in the next couple weeks. What's a good horror movie on HBO that's not Freddy?
Saw.
I don't have HBO.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
Saw.
I believe Malignant's still on there, and I'm a big Malignant fan.
God,
so
no.
I loved it. I loved it. I've got a
hated
movie reaction up on the channel, and my reaction to the third act is the best thing. Oh my God, I had so much fun.
So this went way off the rails. I totally forgot where we are.
I'm gonna respond to the fourth film.
Okay, wait, I think you're on 5, right?
Well, no, I think we're on the 4th one. I already said my 5th one.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, we're on 4.
We're starting with you at number 4.
Okay, so I'm gonna catch a lot of hate for this. Not that I haven't been catching hate in the entire chat, but The Nun. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought that Bonnie Aaron's did a phenomenal job. Okay, let me put it this way. The way you feel about Leprechaun, Patrick, is the way I felt about The Nun. It was stupid, it was fun, it was schlocky, and it was just kind of like it was an unexpected turn in a very serious, scary film. Or serious, scary universe. Yeah, thank you. Serious, scary. What you said, and it just when it came down to it was just so goofy and stupid and fun and like that scene when they're gonna go into that tomb and like Damien Bourguer, I think he's like, "You want to go first?"
Sure.
And the guy goes, "No." Yeah, they have this whole buddy cop moment where they're both kind of afraid to hold the gun and kind of anticipating what's gonna happen. I thought it was great. I love when Valak comes out of the water in slow motion. I love that. By the way, I also interviewed Bonnie Aarons. Check it out on my channel. It's under the interviews tab. She's amazing. It's phenomenal. I really loved it. I thought it was fantastic and fun. It had me on the edge of my seat. I had nothing negative to say about it, but it was really goofy. But I loved it because of that, because it was just so much fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I'm saying. These are subjective. These are not what we think is the best. These are our favorites. Because like I said, I think the cinematography of The Nun is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I think it was well shot, but opinions. Remember when I sent a pic to the group chat of me where they filmed? Yes, turns out not only they filmed in my city, but it's also going to be released on my birthday, which is November 19th. I cannot wait for the new Ghostbusters movie.
Hey Maya, did you want to send me some of those photos and hit me up on Instagram so I can fly out and see these productions? Oh,
what are you guys' YouTube channels? Jay, you don't have to look far. The links are in the description. Click the links down here. Subscribe to them. If you guys are watching this on a replay, I've said it before. Click down here. Subscribe to these guys. They are so awesome. The Nun So High is blasphemy.
Also, by the way,
make
sure you guys I was going to say, in April, speaking of Maya, I'm going to flex really quick. Make sure you guys go to the theater in April next year so you can go see a movie I worked on.
Oh, what movie?
It's called 13 Lives.
Cool.
It's the movie about the kids who were stuck in the tunnel, the Thailand kids.
That's awesome, man.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I was part of security and traffic control, and they're doing barricading and security management.
Badass.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Yeah, I can't wait. Keep reminding us because I'm going to go watch it and be like, my dude helped make this.
I got to meet the cast and everything. Viggo Mortensen, by the way, nicest guy.
He is awesome. I love it. I loved him in Eastern Promises. That was awesome. Woo!
Appreciate it. Okay, before we do my number 4, yes, I did, and holy shit, great. I think it looks incredible.
I haven't seen anything. I'm excited about the concept. I love Ethan Hawke. I'm not going to watch a thing. I'm just going to watch it.
It's from the director of Sinister.
I know, and Sinister is a masterpiece. Absolutely
amazing. Trailer is fucking
I got a special video coming from my sister soon with that movie.
Yes, I can't wait. My number 4 has been talked about by both of these gentlemen so far, and obviously I like it a little bit more than they did. And that
is Comes Home.
The Devil Made Me Do It.
I knew it.
Look, I don't think that The Devil Made Me do See, my thing with The Devil Made Me Do It is it was fun, man. And yeah, they gave away the best parts in the trailer. Of course they did, but the anxiety I still felt when Lorraine ran up to that cliff and she's sitting there and, Ed's like, Lorraine? And he's just got that look of fear on his face. Like, I felt that. And then when you have the waterbed scene, again, these were all spoiled by the trailer.
I'm just going to remind Ken for this that Saw 3D is awful, and that Spiral was better than he made it out to be. That's upside down. That Spiral was amazing.
3D. That was that was like one of the great. That was a great storyline. I love the whole storyline.
It's really bad when you notice that the only way that you can turn off the traps in the movie is that the timer that it's connected to is actually on an on and off switch. Fuck off.
So when it comes to The Devil Made Me Do It, though, there was things about the movie I did enjoy, and I liked the cast in the film. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really did. And a lot of the things that happened throughout the film, they left a lot of loose ends, and that's actually why this movie fell. There's a lot that didn't make sense in this film. So coming at number 4 for me is The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, but it's obviously right in the middle. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It's just right there in the middle.
You know what, Ken? I don't care that you broke your elbow.
Amazing.
Memes.
Oh, 2 things real quick. The Devil Made Me Do It is my 3rd. Ha! I'm not the only one. Luckily, I've never watched the trailer before the movie.
Because it's your 4th, actually.
If you watch the documentary before watching The Devil Made Me Do It, makes it a lot better. See, that's something that I didn't know. Have you guys seen the Banana Splits? Have you guys seen the Banana Splits movie?
I haven't, no.
I'm waiting till the Five Nights at Freddy's movie finally comes out, whenever that might be.
Yeah, it's very Five Nights at Freddy's-ish, but it is a lot of fun to watch. So, Patrick, do you want to give us your number 4?
I've already given it. It was The Curse of La Llorona, so we're on to Mr. Death Breath for number 3.
He already gave us his number 4 too, didn't he?
Wait,
yes.
I think we're out of order because so we're on number 3 now.
Yeah,
so now we're starting number 3.
Okay.
So I presented my number 4 first.
Yep. So Mr. Death Breath, you start with number 3.
So my number 3, it's not one of my favorite films, but I actually really enjoy it, and it's just really solid. My only problem is everything's completely predictable, and that's my issue with this movie. Mm-hmm. The Conjuring. I love the clapping. I love Bathsheba. I love the location. And you know what this was? Yeah, really what this was is this was a breath of fresh air where we're getting that Platinum Dunes like horror movie remakes that Michael Bay kept doing that were terrible. So it was a nice shift. Like we're coming out of the early 2000s. 100% terrible. Hate that way. So we're coming into this whole adjustment period of a whole different opening, a different era in horror movies. And it was fantastic. But my problem was it was too predictable. It was just too predictable. Nothing shocked me. Nothing frightened me. But I love it because it's just so unsettling. It just feels like you shouldn't be watching it. So that's my number 3, Conjuring.
Yep.
Okay. My number 3 is a lot higher for me than you guys as well. Annabelle Creation. I thought of the Annabelle movies, this was the best one.
Wow.
From these rankings, I'm lucky I've got whiskey in this Pepsi, by the way.
But I mean, like, it's one
so
of those
good.
films that I really don't think that Annabelle Creation is really that bad of a film, to be honest with you. And I think the big thing for me is Lulu Wilson's in the movie. And I love Lulu Wilson. I think she is one of the best up-and-coming actresses of all time. I think she has potential to be one of the best actresses of all time. I think right now she's my favorite child actress. And she really is, she's so much fun to watch. And even in this film, she's great to watch. And having a lot of the younger kids in this be the center of attention in this film, not have it be based around the adults, I think made it a whole lot more suspenseful for me as a father. So I think that maybe changed my outlook on this film, watching it as a dad rather than watching it as someone that's watching their peers. And this one I'm watching the kids rather than watching. And I love the ending, how the ending leads you into Annabelle, how it goes to the cult murder. So for me, number 3 is Creation. Let's surely the nun is at number
Alex,
1.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Look, Alex, you know what, Alex? Fuck you. All right. You undermined how bad those scenes were in The Hills Have Eyes 2, 2007.
I'll say I know you guys just worked together.
Yeah, him and I did a reaction to the sequel to The Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes 2, yeah.
Holy fuck, it was awful. That opening scene. And then that scene later on was way too much. That rape scene was worse than it was in the first one. No.
See, I can't watch rape scenes. That's why I've never seen the movie. And
it's boring.
Linky says the Five Nights at Freddy's movie may not come out because of the Scott.
This is inaccurate. This is inaccurate because they are still going forward with his retirement because the movie is actually owned by Blumhouse. They have a script, but due to issues and everything, the director, Chris Columbus, who made Harry Potter 1 and 2 and Home Alone 1 and 2, actually just left production. So now they're on the search for a new director before they start filming, because they were meant to start filming this spring. Well, your autumn, this fall. But they were meant to start filming, I think it was this month, until he left production last month. And now they're looking for a new, director.
Well, let's hope that they get it, because I would love to do that. I'd love to see it. The Conjuring made haunted house movies good again. You see, now I've talked on this podcast before about how movies go in cycles. You'll get your slasher movies that'll go, and we're in the slasher cycle right now. Terrifier 2's coming out. We just had Halloween. We got Scream.
I've never seen Terrifier.
Oh, dude, you need to.
It's awesome.
So
it's really,
good.
like, stripped down.
It's on my list to actually react to next month.
Dude, so good. I can't wait to see that.
I just need to track down a fucking copy.
Yeah.
It's on Voodoo. You can watch it with ads.
I live in Australia. We don't have Voodoo.
Do you have Shudder?
I do have Shudder.
It's on Shudder.
What did you guys think of VHS 94, by the way?
I haven't watched it yet. Don't say anything, because me and my wife, listen.
So good!
In 2 days, my wife and I are heading out to Salem, Massachusetts.
Woo,
we're going to be working with one of the writers of American Horror Story on the movie that we're putting out. And while we're out there, we're going to be watching VHS 94 as well. And we're going to be visiting the set of Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah, we're so excited, man. My wife is over the moon because Hocus Pocus is her favorite movie of all time. And it's a movie we watch every year. So we're going out to the set of Hocus Pocus 2. And the movie we're making is about Giles Corey, the only male to ever be executed for being a witch in the United States. Wow. And that's what our movie is going to be about. We're working with one of the script supervisors from American Horror Story.
Damn.
So we're taking a 4-day weekend. We're going out to Salem, and we're going to actually, because we want this to be factually and historically accurate. And I've been in contact with a couple people that are very interested. I can't go into too much right now, but I can't wait to share with you guys.
Let me just throw my name in the hat real quick. Send me a screener when you have one, because I look forward to seeing and reviewing.
Throw my name in the hat as an actor, please. I would love to be a part of it.
I would have you over here in a minute.
Yeah, do it. I'll be a part of it if you want.
Hold on, this is really funny. Annabelle Creation is my least favorite Annabelle film. Annabelle Creation was the best Annabelle film. God, I love the horror community, man. This is so awesome, and it's so much fun to see stuff like this. Welcome back, Spooky. I'm glad you're back, Maya. Thank you for popping back with us. I wouldn't say it made haunted house movies good again, but it made more relevant for sure. Yes, I can't wait either. That's what I was saying. While we're out there, we're watching VHS 94, and we're very excited about it.
I'm actually kind of excited for next week on the 28th when Paramount Plus releases the new Paranormal Activity movie, because I've seen the trailers. It actually looks different and interesting. Totally. Unlike, you know, the last 5 movies, this actually looks kind of good.
Yeah,
I can't spill the beans on this yet because we're just now in the writing process, but I have a couple people interested that might actually shock some people.
Please, fly me out and have me a part of it. I would love to be a part of it.
So, hold on.
Can I be one of the deaths?
My dad hates horror movies, but every week I make him watch. That is so much fun. The history of horror. I love Eli Roth. That's very much fun
for me every year. Eli Roth's Green Room.
That is a really, really good movie.
I love Green Room. I have never seen Cannibal Holocaust, which he was inspired by to make that. But I'm considering watching it on the channel soon.
Good luck. I hope you have a great time. I can't do it. Shit. See, here I go, losing track again. I just did Annabelle Creation. So,
as your
Patrick,
number 3?
We're up to your number 3.
All right, my number 3 is the exact same as Mr. Death Breath's, The Conjuring. Woo! Look, I think it's fine. I'm pretty much on the exact same path here as I was with the Curse of La Llorona. I feel the exact same way. I think I care about the characters purely because of the story, except none of them are nearly as likable in regards to their presence. I think that the dad character is really annoying. I think the mother in the movie is actually really great, and I think the kids do a really good job throughout the movie. Obviously, you've got Joey King, who has now made her name with masterpieces such as Kissing Booth and Slenderman and Wish Upon, but you know, Joey King, you had a good run while you had it in 2013. Mackenzie Foy as well, who
Twilight,
Twilight and Nutcracker in the Four Realms, but she's still a really good actress. She's also my age. Hey, Mackenzie Foy, if you're watching this, please, my DMs are open. But no, I think everyone for the most part does a good job in this movie, and James Wan is a fucking master at direction. He's fucking fantastic. And you know what? I'm a bit of a fucking biased cunt. Excuse me for my language right there. If you guys don't like that word, I do apologize, and Ken as well. I'm Aussie. I use it a lot. I'm Aussie.
It's fine.
Please, I'm sorry.
Muhammad, thank you. We appreciate you so fucking much. Thank you. Okay, continue with the cunts, Patrick.
Wait, where are they at? I'm lonely.
Oh, you guys are too much. Damn, you're funny.
But no, I think it's fine. Like, it's got some good suspense in there. That the basement sequence when Vera Farmiga falls down the wall is really good. And that moment, I was just like, oh, clapping, cool. I did this with my friends when I was younger. It didn't really scare me. The whole thing out of the closet, I'm like, oh, it's a Narnia situation. So it didn't really scare me. But like, I think it's because by that point I'd been subjected to so many movies as a young kid, like Nightmare on Elm Street, like Jason, like Halloween, like Saw. I watched the original Hostel literally when I was like 9 years old. So that shit didn't really scare me because I was already just fucking numb to the whole gore sort of thing or the fright sort of thing from Nightmare doing it better. But you know what? If I hadn't, that would be very effective, and I would probably have fond memories, but it's personally never scared me that much. But doesn't take away the merit. Unfortunately, my biggest issue with this movie is it's very slow, very boring, not necessarily being uninteresting. It's still a well-crafted movie, and the family, while uninteresting, are still likable because of their performances. Mm-hmm. But it's still a good enough movie. Although I might talk shit about this movie, that's mainly because I think it's overhyped. But doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't credit there, and I might talk about it a little bit too much compared to what it's actually valued as in my mind.
Sure. Yeah. And that's another thing that the big thing with all of us, it comes down to personal preference.
Yeah.
You know, and it could also be, like I said, it could be one of those things where we watched them with our family. Or something happened that really enhances the viewing for us. We got our first kiss while we were watching. I'm hoping for that someday. You know, it's like, you know, you always have these things that enhance the viewing for you. So
exactly.
Like, I want to real quick. Is there any remakes you like better than the original? Because I like the Child's Play remake the most. Yes.
I got one too. Damn.
I actually have one. Yeah.
I like Evil Dead the remake more than I like the original.
But Evil Dead 2 is still superior.
Oh, I think Evil Dead 2 is one of the best horror movies ever made. It's in my top 3. But Evil Dead the original is not a very good movie. If you go back and watch it, it does not hold up. Evil Dead 2 did a great job rebooting it.
I still really enjoy it. I think it's fun. I just think the remake is better.
The remake is awesome.
I'll tell you this right now. Child's Play 2019 is one of my wife, Ashley, who's usually joining me, who isn't here tonight. Unfortunately, she's at work. That's one of her favorite movies. Not just favorite remakes, it's one of her favorite movies. And I agree with her. I think it's amazing. I think Child's Play 2019 is an underrated remake. What about you guys? Are there any remakes that you think are superior to the original?
The Thing.
Yeah, nice.
The Fly, The Blob.
The Fly, The Blob. I've actually never seen either of the Blob movies, so excuse me for that one.
The Blob is actually really well done.
They are on my list. I do think that the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is better than the original.
Dude.
But that's nothing against the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though. That's mainly because of the budget. It's just the more updated feel of the remake.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. When I come to ranking the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, because I watched all of them for the first time ever over the last couple months. When I rank them, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre are very, very close in my mind. Like, I have it barely below the remake. But I do like that remake slightly more because of the updated feel. A New Beginning, on the other hand, the remake sequel, or prequel, it actually is, fucking sucks. I hate it. I really, really don't like it. And then you've got Texas Chainsaw 3D, which again... But another one as well, which I watched for the first time over the other week, although there is that middle scene, which I will never watch again, I will always skip, The Hills Have Eyes. I think it's much better than the original, although I will always skip that middle scene because it doesn't belong. I have said this before, when it comes to rape in movies, I can't watch those scenes because
I can't either.
With personal things that have happened to me, I just can't, and not only that, it's just a very bad subject matter. But if it's done in certain films right and it has a message conveyed throughout it, it can be effective, like movies like Revenge or Promising Young Women, or what is it called? The Nightingale is one in particular. The Nightingale is fucking fantastic. And it uses that as a way to develop the character, to help them grow. But you see the catharsis of the revenge aspect played out throughout the film. And that's very, very satisfying. And that's one of the reasons why I like Promising Young Woman so much, because it felt so personal to something I experienced at an incredibly, very, very, very young age.
Wow.
Right.
So,
bless you.
We already talked about that. The Blob remake. Maybe a controversial take, but I quite enjoyed the message and story of Cannibal Holocaust, aside from the real-life animal deaths and rape scenes. Not one I would buy on DVD without feeling guilty. See, that's one thing for me. I can't deal with rape. You'll never hear me supporting a movie that has rape in it or anything of that nature. It hits too close to home. And again, I am not going to shit on anybody for anything. If you're making art, I've always said it's subjective. If you can watch it and you can stomach it, I'm not saying you're a bad person. Please, I get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, you bash that a lot." Listen, it's just not for me. I get that it's not real.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's not a good movie either. It's just not for you.
And it's not real. You know, this woman is not really being assaulted. I understand that. But for me, because of things that I've seen and people that are very close to me that I've had to hold while they cried because of things like that, it just hits me too hard. I can't watch it myself. If you can, that's awesome. I'm not saying you're a bad person. You could separate the fantasy from reality in ways that I can't. So you're actually a better person than I am. I can't separate that because it breaks my heart too much from the things that have happened in my own life.
Exactly.
Be sure to tell Ashley we missed her tonight. You know what? I just screenshotted that. So that way she believes me. She's always like, no one cares I'm on, baby. Yes, they do. Because you're better looking than me. You're way smarter than me. People don't know this, but Ashley, Sledgehammer Horror was her brainchild. She came up with Didn't See That Coming. She came up with the line that I say in every episode, Let's Talk Horror. She's my muse. She's, we've been together. Tomorrow is our 3-year wedding anniversary. We've been together 16 years. She's
fucking hell, you're ancient.
Yeah, dude, she's the coolest fucking person I've ever met besides you guys. That reminds me, I have seen one Chucky film that was 2019 reboot, which you recommended to me when we first began chatting. Still baffled the creepy caretaker is not Jack Black. I know, but you didn't miss out. That's a great movie, and I'm glad that you did watch it. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on these real quick so we can get back. Amityville Horror remake was good as well. It absolutely was.
Really
Ryan
good.
Reynolds' performance in that movie is criminally fucking underrated.
I've never seen an Amityville Horror movie because there are so fucking many of them.
Watch the first one and the remake. That's all you have to see.
Solid. Ryan Reynolds does a phenomenal job.
And Ryan Reynolds' performance in the remake is fucking believable. And you know what? The Amityville remake is when I realized Ryan Reynolds was a fucking actor. And not just a comedic actor. When I watched him in that, I took him serious after watching that movie. I enjoyed the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I'm going to be honest with you. It had positives and negatives to it. I think it has the best ending of any Nightmare on Elm Street film. I just don't like the overusage of CGI throughout.
Great actor, but I hated the movie.
Yeah.
But he's a fantastic actor.
Naomi what was her name? Rooney Mara almost quit acting because of that movie as well.
Well, her performance was pretty lackluster anyway, so I was like,
well, that's because she was treated so poorly on set.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The only person who really gave her any sympathy or kindness on set was actually Jackie Earle Haley, who was very kind to her.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Jackie Earle Haley is a god amongst men, from what I've heard.
Yeah,
It 2017 was better than the original, though I prefer It Chapter 2.
I love It 2017. That is awesome. That is an awesome. But I hated
that.
That
was the first movie I saw in theaters as a 15-year-old that was MA15 plus that I saw legally in theaters.
I'll tell you this.
Always sneak into MA15 plus movies because I was too young, because I was 15 when It Chapter 2017 came out, and then that was the first ever screening I also got invited to. Got to go to a very special audience preview screening that I was invited to in 2017 as a small critic, and that kind of boosted my channel for a while. That was the first video I ever posted that got over 1,000 views, so I hold that film very close to heart. That actually performed really well, getting me over 80,000 views.
I think It Chapter 2 is the best of the franchise as well. Nene, sup guys? I'm new here.
I love your work. That's amazing.
I hope.
Yeah, that's Ellie's.
Wow, that is so awesome. I love that.
Nene, welcome to the chat. I hope you subscribe to my channel, Patrick's, and to Mr. Death Breath. I hope you have an amazing time.
Especially these two guys. Don't watch me.
Watch
the Fly remake. The Fly remake is both beautiful and disgusting. It's such a romantic story, but God, the visuals. Invasions of the Body Snatchers. Dude, hold on. Remember, fucking. That shit gets me every time, man. Donald Sutherland, so good.
I loved it. I loved it because of that end.
Okay,
that's what did
Maya. Look, I tried to watch that the other day, and I got about 30 minutes in, and I'm like, all right, Blu-ray, and I just threw it.
Wait, which one?
The one with Vince Vaughn.
That was terrible.
Here's my thing, real quick, before we get back to our Conjuring, because I do want to catch up on the chat and get back to that. The Psycho remake with Vince Vaughn is awesome. Like, if you like Psycho, you should like this remake because it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
That's one of the reasons to why I hate it, because it's the exact same fucking movie. It's just nowhere near as good or talent. There's nowhere near as talent behind it.
It's unnecessary. It is an unnecessary remake, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's just absolutely unnecessary.
Vince Vaughn did not do any favors to that film. He did nothing good about it.
Nightmare on Elm Street. You know what? The Nightmare on Elm Street remake, I did like this throat slit, and I love
He was in Twilight, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kellen Lutz. He was
the
awesome
idea of the micro naps. I thought the micro naps
that was awesome. When they were in the pharmacy and like the world started blending from like Dreamworld. That was a good scene.
13.
Hey! No, not. Fuck off.
How old are you, Patrick?
I'm 19.
19. 13.
I'm not 20 until December. Oi. Right,
yes, it does, and yes, 65. It's one of the best of all time. Okay,
if I'm 13,
that's my second
then you're
favorite.
65, Ken.
150,000%. Yes.
He was the best part of all the Psycho sequels too.
Yep. The Psycho 2 is one of my favorite
really
movies.
Good.
Psycho 2 is really good.
Right here.
I recommend Cujo. That was great.
So do I. Very
Cujo's
good.
Cujo's very good.
Do you guys remember where we are on our rankings?
2.
Yeah, I'm gonna be doing the next one, I believe.
You started the number 3, didn't you?
I don't know.
Because you did the Conjuring, then Ken said Annabelle Creation, then I said Conjuring.
So then you started the last. No, so that's Ken, right?
Yep. So I start this one, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're at number 2. Real quick, a whole lot more than anybody can offer.
I'm actually open to it. I don't have a problem with it because I saw the first film when I was like 12.
Those movies give me fucking PTSD.
I would check it out again for sure. I actually been tempted to.
Never again.
Nene, let me ask you this. While you're here in the chat, did you see the Wrong Turn reboot that just came out with my good friends Cheney Morrow and Damian Maffei? And if you did, what were your thoughts on the reboot of Wrong Turn? I think it's my second favorite in the franchise besides Wrong Turn 2. You know?
I don't like Wrong Turn 2. I like Wrong Turn 1. And then Wrong Turn 2021 is the second best. But the thing is, the biggest problem with Wrong Turn 2021 is that there are great ideas, but it never follows through. And it has a very overdrawn runtime. And the ideas it sets up, it never goes on with and never fully establishes the ideas or develops upon them. So therefore, it's a very frustrating movie while very watchable. It's a watchable movie. I enjoy it. I own the Blu-ray. Although I gave it a D+, that's because it does have those issues that if the minor fixes were there, it would be a great Wrong Turn movie. And it does have the homages to the previous 6 films with that scene at the end, homaging to the boys wanting to watch the cannibal movies, or that scene when they're trying to escape where you saw the people with their eyes burnt out, where they're actually eating one of the Foundation members' body.
Yeah. Man, I haven't seen them in years. I haven't seen the first one in years. I was like 12 or 13.
Wrong Turn 2021 has the best credit scroll I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's fun.
I love the credit scroll in that movie. So we're going down to my number 2, which has been talked about. And I still have enough sense not to try and watch the Wrong Turn.
That's an amazing
every time with you, Jay. God, I love you so much.
Oh, it's so funny.
So number 2 for me is the OG Conjuring. And I'm gonna say this: I did a video on my channel, which was my top 10 favorite jump scares, and the Conjuring was on that list. And it's not the clap, but when the guy walks in the room, and then he comes back, and the woman has her wrist slit. And she's like, "Look what you made me do!" Like, oh my God, that scared me so bad. Like,
so funny.
That totally freaked me out. So I do like The Conjuring. I think The Conjuring is a lot of fun. So I like it obviously more than you guys did. So I'm going to have to say The Conjuring is on my list at number 2. What about you, Patrick?
My number 2 is Annabelle Creation. I think as someone who really didn't like the first movie, I went into that theater in 2017 just being like, oh my fucking God, this is going to be complete garbage, isn't it? And then I watched it and I'm like, is this another Ouija Origins of Evil situation? Which it was. I really enjoyed this movie because it's not a sequel, it's a prequel. It fully establishes the idea of the Annabelle doll, everything behind it. And I think Lulu Wilson is great, who, by the way, stars in both Annabelle Creation and Ouija Origins of Evil, 2 prequel movies which are better than their originals.
Yes, they are.
And I think they're both directed by the same person. Hold on a fucking second. David F. Sembo.
No. Ouija Origins of Evil was Flanagan.
Flanagan. He was okay. Flanagan was Ouija. But either way, like, I think it has some great tension in the movie. Like those nighttime sequences where she then gets flung up into the ceiling and everything when she is like being stalked or whatever from the abyss and the darkness. Really creepy. The stuff with the Annabelle, like who died. That opening scene, holy shit, that caught me off guard.
That opening scene was fantastic.
Even though I saw it in the trailer, it caught me off guard. I can't remember her name, but who played Eowyn in Lord of the Rings, really good. I just think this movie has a few abrupt sequences, while very, very solid in regards to their scares and payoff. They might be abrupt and rushed, but very, very good in regards to their payoff. This movie showed me how jump scares can be done right. And unfortunately, not many movies follow in the steps of building up the tension and having something you're meant to be scared of. And if they're going to have that loud boom of music, have it be something that would be scary with a loud noise, like Pet Sematary, the remake with the truck sequence. That's something you would be scared by. Same thing regarding, what is it? Let me use an example where it's a fake scare or a fake out where it doesn't have that sound effect, but it's something you would be scared by and is effective for that reason. Dr. Loomis in Halloween 78.
Yeah.
Oilani. And then you have Bracken come up behind him and tap him on the shoulder. That's how you use a fake scare like that effectively and use a jump scare. Don't use the loud boomer music if there's not going to be a loud boomer music in that moment. But if there is in that moment and it's something you would be scared of because of the noise, especially, have it. Creation proves that point. It shows that. And that's one of the reasons why I love it, because it shows me you can have great characters, a great story, a narrative, and characters combined that you give a shit about that is well-paced with some great scares and jump scares that are effective because the director knows how to utilize them.
Yeah. I really enjoy that film. Mr. Death Breath, before we get to your number 2, let's catch up real quick. I like Wrong Turn 2, as did I. I thought Wrong Turn 2 was a lot of fun. I grew up a big punk rock guy, Black Flag, so Henry Rollins being in that film was really cool.
I love Henry Rollins. He's awesome.
The actress who played the sort of militant soldier in that little apocalypse game in Wrong Turn 2 is actually in the Hills Have Eyes 2 remake. Playing the same character, pretty much.
That's awesome. I love it. Ken, you need to introduce me to Ash. I've heard so much about her, but I'm starting to believe she is a creature of myth. She's definitely beautiful enough to be a creature of myth. She's like a fucking unicorn. You see her and you're just in awe. Like,
okay, I was going to say, what type of creature of myth?
I honestly don't like any of the Conjuring films. That's fair. I know a lot of people that don't. And especially once, they hear the about, the real story of Patrick and Lorraine, they, turn it off even more. But for me, I am a fan of some of them, but I'm not overly big on them. Nene said my favorites are Wrong Turns 2 and 3. 2021 I did not like much. I feel like they could have done more with the foundation. See, for me, I felt like 2021 was definitely a less is more type thing when it came to the foundation. I feel like if you would have overdone them, it would have brought it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's why we're here.
A big part of that movie was also the pacing and how it's just very jumpy. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, fun fact about Wrong Turn 3, it was directed by the same guy for Wrong Turn 3, 4, and 5, and he's the same guy who made Sharktopus.
That's hilarious. A classic like Sharktopus. How could we forget about that? I went in dreading Creation. However, it was great. I agree, Jay. I think Creation is fun. I think it's a really fun movie. It's my number 3. So I definitely could say that. One thing about Creation was the writing and storytelling was great. I completely agree. I feel like The Conjuring 2 is the same movie as 1 in terms of sequence, but with different house and cast.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Here's my indefinite ranking. Annabelle Comes Home. Oh, you're grounded, Maya. The Conjuring 2, OG Conjuring, Annabelle Creation. The Devil Made Me Do It. 6, Annabelle. Haven't seen the other 2. Not missing much. I've never seen a Stephen King horror movie except for the 2 It movies. Medi, when you're done watching the stream, go out and watch Sometimes They Come Back. And then watch
awesome.
The Shining.
Wow, that is, yes. And then watch Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep is, I was going to say, watch The Shining and Dr. Sleep, and then watch Silver Bullet, because Silver Bullet is fucking amazing too.
Hey.
Sleepwalkers.
I didn't like it. It doesn't hold up
Stop
for me,
looking at me, you fucking cat. Really was expecting you to be like, yep, she's pretty enough to be a Loch Ness monster. Yeah, Unicorn was definitely the prettiest.
Me.
Give me a big famous director you want to see do a traditional horror film.
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese. That would be a really good one. I'd like to see Scorsese do one.
Spielberg.
I thought you said Bill Burr. I'm like, that'd be interesting.
Spielberg, but Spielberg's done Jaws. Spielberg's done Jurassic Park. I feel like Spielberg's done.
I mean, like a classic. Like, he technically was a part of Poltergeist as well. He was a producer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind then. How about Edgar Wright? Because I know we've got Soho coming out.
That's great.
That's
I
not.
love that.
I have a feeling Soho might be very much so like that, but I want to see him go like classic, like slasher route one day because of how he did Shaun of the Dead. And I feel like he could really bring his editing style to that as well. Wright is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He's incredible.
Oh, I'm so excited to see it next week too. It comes out in November for us, but I have it at the Brisbane International Film Festival next week, so I'm so excited.
Yeah. See, I think that Shaun of the Dead is one of the most underrated films 100%. Of all time. I cry every time I watch it.
My favorite zombie movie.
Every time I watch it, I cry. When his mom's dying, oh my God, I seriously cry every single time. The original Pet Sematary is another great Stephen King film. Another amazing Stephen King film. Sometimes dead is better. All horror fans should watch Desperation. Yes,
I loved the book. I hated the movie.
So good. I liken Desperation to Sometimes They Come Back. Made for TV films that don't get the recognition that they deserve. Okay, yeah, that's crazy. Again, opinions are opinions, but I don't know where you could get that. Martin Scorsese directing an Exorcist remake would be a dream.
My life, I'm not gonna hurt you. You just let me finish.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm gonna bash you right the fuck in.
Oh, such a great scene.
No one could have done that role like Jack Nicholson.
Nobody. It was his role. It was his. It was Hughes Warren to play it.
Yeah.
So Patrick, we are on now that we're caught up with the chat. Patrick, you want to give us your number 2?
I just did.
Yeah, you did. That's my turn. Yeah.
Creation. Yep. All right. God, I'm terrible at this. My memory's like a fucking. I'm like Dory. P30 wall.
Keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
What is it? Now I can't remember that.
P. Sherman driving.
P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Ha! Got it. Took me a little bit for Dory to come back. But, all right. Mr. Death Breath, give us your number 2.
Conjuring 2, man. I love Conjuring 2. It's not as good as I remember, but it's well done. The introduction of Valak is fantastic. The scene in the basement where it's flooded and that guy appears was fantastic. That jump scare with the old TV and the chair with the reflection. It was exciting and fun, and I just really enjoyed it. It's actually a really strong entry, and it still holds up.
Yeah. See, and obviously we're going to be talking about The Conjuring 2 here a little bit more, but I agree. I think The Conjuring 2 is so fucking awesome. Now, Patrick, before we get into your number 1, I want to catch up a little bit. Scorsese directing anything would be great. His knowledge and passion for film is on a different level. He's a GOAT director for me. Goodfellas is the GOAT movie. I see that with your picture there.
Whole life I
like Goodfellas a lot, but for me personally, Casino is the GOAT mafia movie.
Isn't Goodfellas the one with Joe Pesci in it where he does the torture scene?
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen Goodfellas. Never mind. Okay, I have seen it. It's just been years.
Yeah, Casino to me is the GOAT when it comes to mafia movies. I fucking love Casino. Joe Pesci
I feel like they're basically the same movie, though. Like, it really is. That's my issue. So I love them both equally. It's just like
I love Judd Crandall from the original Pet Sematary, maybe my favorite horror character of all time, honestly. That's fucking
Can we talk about how good what's his name was in the remake though as Judd? Can we talk about how good he was? Was he Eddie Munster?
He was one of the monsters, the original Judd?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the remake.
No, I'm talking about in the original.
No. I'm just saying that John Lithgow, Lord Farquaad himself, was also really good as Judd in the remake.
John Lithgow was amazing as Dexter, as the Trinity Killer. If you haven't seen him in that, like, wow. Like, that was insane. He was terrifying.
Speaking of actually the monsters, did you see Rob Zombie's production photo of the monster?
It is Casino where
I can't wait not to see it.
Yeah.
I hate his dialogue, man. I've seen almost all his dialogue ruined it.
Okay.
You know what? And I'm with you. I'm not a Rob Zombie fan. Everybody that knows me knows that. I respect his films because I'm not, but I am excited to see what he does with the monsters. I really am excited.
That production photo was very
my favorite out of that universe. Patrick,
I like his
what's your number 1?
I like his music, just not his movies.
Well, I thought just breaking it down from my number 8 before I get to my number 1, as we'll revise for those who weren't here earlier. My number 8 was Annabelle, released in 2014. Then number 7 was The Nun. Number 6 was The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Number 5 was Annabelle Comes Home. 4 was The Curse of La Llorona. Yes, I know that's controversial. Number 3 was The Conjuring. And number 2 was Annabelle Creation. But my number 1, The Conjuring 2. Like, this is the movie out of the Conjuring series that really affected me. I remember seeing this in theaters with a buddy of mine when it came out, and we were deeply affected. This was my sleep paralysis demon for weeks. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would see just that fucking nun, Valak, standing in the corner. But it's not even just the nun that's creepy in this movie. There are multiple things. That opening scene, masterful. Yes. That scene, what is it? Anything involving the old man, Bill?
Yes,
what the frick? Dude, and just the ominous scenes walking around the house, and then that TV turns. And
yes.
Some of the creepiest audio shit I've ever heard in a movie.
100%.
And then all of a sudden, the whole conspiracy around it is very interesting. Like, is it real? Is it not? And then all of a sudden, Janet has to fake it to save the family.
Yeah. Brilliant.
It's the reason why this movie works so well for me is because it's not just a great movie. I mean, not just a great horror movie. It's a great movie overall that does focus on the development and the characters. The whole thing with the father sleeping with the guy, the woman, and having kids with the woman around the corner. The whole thing involving like them being poor, Janet supposedly smoking at school even though she's not.
Right.
The whole basement flooding. It has real life issues that we can connect with these characters, which was missing in that first film, unfortunately. But this movie brought it to a whole new level. The story, the characters, the emotional weight. My favorite scene in the movie isn't even anything horror related. It's the "Can't Help Falling in Love with You" scene, where you have Patrick Wilson singing, "Wise men say only fools rush in." Like, that's such an emotional, like, impactful scene that just really affects me every time. And I'm like, it is bringing a tear to my eye. Like, it really does, because it has real world issues for these characters that is deeply effective, that make the horror situations all the more scary. And taking into account, Bill is great. Bill is horrifying. And all of a sudden, the realization that he's not really the bad guy, that he's being played with and controlled.
That was awesome.
By the way, when I was watching The Conjuring 2 leading up to The Nun, I had a really disturbing realization with the whole Bill, where it's like the three knocks of the Holy Trinity. I'm like, what is the three knocks of the Holy Trinity? Watching this movie, pitch black darkness, 2 o'clock in the morning, I looked it up and learning that it was the call of the devil, and I can't remember what it actually is, and learning about what actually the three knocks of the Holy Trinity were sent chills down my spine, and I will never watch that movie at 2 o'clock in the morning ever again for that reason.
Yeah. We'll talk about The Conjuring 2 a little bit more here in a minute, I'm sure. Before we do that, though, Mr. Death Breath, Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Jans? I've had pleasant conversations with Chris Stuckman. Yeah, and I've never had conversation with Jeremy Jans, but from what I've had conversations with Chris, he's always been very kind to me. So
I've never had convos with Chris.
You have or you haven't?
Haven't.
He's always been very respectful to me. I was going to have him on my first horror movie, and we had some things come up, and he respectfully had to decline at the time. But it's something we're going to move our way back to in the future, I hope. But he was very kind about it. He was very respectful about it. So I have nothing bad to say about the guy at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion, Daniel. And they're YouTubers, man. I support them both. I wish the one thing I could say about the horror community is we always want the other to succeed. I've never met another person on YouTube in the horror community that was shitty to me. Even when I had James A. Janice and Chelsea Rebecca, we're still friends. We still text with each other. And, it's just one of those things where we all just really want the other one to succeed so bad. Because if you're succeeding in the horror world, that means that the horror world is surrounding you. And that's what we all want. We want each other to succeed.
Yeah,
and that's something I'm going to point out really quick. My buddy, a good buddy of mine, who I think you should have on the channel. I'm going to throw his name out there. Alex Smith. His YouTube channel name is Pugapilla. He isn't really well versed in horror, but he's now like me, reacting to a bunch of horror movies on his channel for the first ever time. He watched Chucky for the first ever time. He watched Scream for the first ever time, and he's loving them. And like, seeing him grow, seeing anyone in the horror community grow, whether you're new to horror or you've been watching it your entire life, is the best thing. And that's what I love about the horror community, because as you said, Ken, we all support each other and want to see each other succeed. I
would love to have him. And speaking of which, here he is. My ranking is Conjuring.
Oh, no, that's Alex.
Oh, okay.
That's Alex. He lives local to me. He's Toowoomba ways, whereas Alex Pugapilla actually lives out in Melbourne.
Send me their information, buddy. And
Alex is also really great.
I'd love to have him as well. Alex right here, Altex TV, hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. I'd love to have you on the channel and learn where horror started for you, man. So hit me up. We'll make this happen. We'll work together. Hey, this person is extremely sexy, and I get to call her my wife. I'm sorry you're not here tonight, babe, but for those of you that don't know, this is my wife. That's not her. That's my son as a picture. I'm not that much of a fucking creep. But she says her number one would be The Conjuring. Her least favorite is The Nun. She was just like me. She was so disappointed in The Nun. But I do want to throw this out there. The reason Ashley is not joining us here tonight is because she is a superhero, a real life hero, and she works in the hospital. She's a respiratory therapist, and she battles COVID. And so she couldn't be here with us tonight. But baby, I love you. Thank you for popping into the chat. Thank you for saving lives and being a hero. We talked about you a lot on here tonight. I hope you got to hear it. Everybody missed you, and I'm glad you could stop in for a minute, my love. See, both nice. Thank you, Daniel, for bringing that up, and thank you for supporting. Daniel is around on a lot of our chats. Daniel, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting YouTubers. It's hard, man. People don't understand all the work that really goes into it that we do on here, and we try really hard with our editing, with our writing. It's not like we just come on and say, hey, this is what it is. When I met Patrick, when I met Mr. Death Breath, I learned so much about them. So, you know, I went in and I did my research on them. You know, we became friends. I tried my hardest to be a part of both of their lives in and outside of YouTube. So whenever you're supporting one YouTuber, you're supporting us all. And we appreciate you for doing it, Daniel. Phone died, so I'm typing on my computer. Hey, thank you for joining back with us. I'm glad that even though your phone died, you hung out with us. We're going to finish this chat up real quick, and then we'll get into everybody else's number one. Network 98. None, thank you. Annabelle, La Llorona, Annabelle Comes Home, Creation, The Conjuring 3, The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring. I love it. I love both Conjuring films, but I prefer the first one because the scares are much more subtle and psychological. I can't argue with that. Jay, if you love horror, then support those that provide horror content. It's that simple. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. And do it, you know, be nice to the people that are coming up. And yes, Patrick, Elvis scene in The Conjuring 2 is great. It is because it's that family moment where they have their dad back for a minute. Ken, I've decided I'm going to watch the first Child's Play tonight. It's time that I watch the Ultimate Doll horror film. You can, or you can wait and watch it with all of us. We could do a Zoom thing. I would love to do that.
Or we can just do that for Child's Play too.
Ashley, we missed you, girl. Have a great night.
This is ghetto.
Learned of this channel through Cody. Awesome live streams. Thoughts on Leprechaun series? I'm not a huge fan of the Leprechaun series, and thank you. Cody is amazing. He's a good friend of mine, Cody Leach. I'll be with him on his channel here in the next couple weeks. I'm not going to get too much into it because I'm going to let him talk about it. But, you know, Leprechaun to me is just okay. It's one of those things where, you know, it is what it is. It's just not scary to me. It's more comedy than horror. I do like the pogo stick scene from the first one, and I think Leprechaun in Vegas, I think it's fun, but it's just they're not really for me.
In the Hood?
What about Leprechaun in space?
Ashley is a hero. Daniel, you are right. She is a hero, and she is amazing and perfect, and I love her so much.
So the guy that got his penis ripped off in Leprechaun 4 was actually my neighbor a long time ago. We lived in the same apartment complex.
That's amazing.
I'm
Did you get to keep his penis as a souvenir? Did you get to keep his penis as a souvenir?
I don't know. He gave me his name tag though. He had this like prop tags and he gave them to me, and I was like 9, so I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Jeff Mead, he was a really nice guy. Hey Jeff, how's it going? So yeah.
Have a great night too, baby. I'll see you in the morning. I told everybody our trip to Salem too, so we're all very excited.
Nice meeting you.
The Nun is my favorite James Wan villain. See, and I can't disagree with that. I love The Nun. I just didn't like the movie. You missed my question, Ken. I didn't see it. DVDs or Blu-rays? Okay, I am going to give a little bit of a winded answer here. It depends on the film. There are some films that shouldn't be done in Blu-ray, like Sleepaway Camp.
For instance, like this one, because the Blu-ray looks like garbage.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really depends on the film. I honestly think that I would prefer Blu-ray for most of mine because I do like the technology of it. But there are some films that are needed to be watched in lower quality. Like I said, Sleepaway Camp, Alien, Saw. These movies don't look good when you enhance them. So it really is tricky.
Kevin ruined the whole gag. Because whenever they have the guy being starved, you can see the guy underneath it. They use the dark resolution to hide the fact that there was a person underneath.
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard that the 4K restoration of Saw is really good, though. And Ken, I've got to actually send you that PayPal money so I can actually have you send my copy of it.
It's sitting on my fridge, bro. I will show you after we're done with this. It's sitting on my fridge. It's not even opened, I swear to God.
What happened?
Ken, have you seen Beetlejuice? I'm watching it tomorrow. Yes, I have. I love Beetlejuice.
So
nice fucking model. Honk, honk. Yeah, I love Beetlejuice. It's dark. It's hilarious. Michael Keaton's amazing. The Danny Elfman score is fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes, legendary.
I hope you enjoy it, Network. Follow us on social media. Hit me up tomorrow. Let me know what you thought of it. I would love to get your opinions on it. I love talking movies with people. So if you enjoy it, if you don't enjoy it, let me know what you thought of it. I think it's great. What are your guys' thoughts on this season's American Horror Story? It's all right.
I don't watch American Horror Story.
I stopped watching after season 3. I got so bored.
I stopped watching after
okay.
the first episode.
It wasn't terrible.
Well,
if it wasn't for Leprechaun, we wouldn't have Jennifer Aniston. That's also very true.
That's true. That's
the only
thing that came out of it.
Warwick Davis, come on, Wicket. Wicket himself.
And Jennifer Aniston are the only good things about that franchise.
But going back to your question before, Mr. Deathbreath, by the way, you asked what happened. So Ken has my copy of the 4K Blu-ray of Saw because we don't get it over here in Australia. They're Best Buy and Target exclusives over in the US. We still don't have the 78 4K restoration of Halloween, the 1978. What? We still don't have that 4K. We don't have it. We don't. I need to find a way to order it overseas. But Ken has my my copy that I ordered from Australia and sent it to his house to then have it shipped.
So I could send it to him.
Yeah, because the only reason I have this version of Spiral is because a good buddy of mine, Burns Reviews, actually bought it without me even asking and sent it over to me. Because in Australia, our copy of Spiral was cut down by 10 minutes on the Blu-ray and DVD.
Why?
Because of the MPA, it was rendered too violent, even though they'd already cut out like 15 minutes of the theatrical version and removing an entire trap, entire subplots and everything from the film of Spiral. Like there's an entire trap apparently removed where they took a guy's face off.
That was you mean his? I think
no.
The actual version too.
No.
They took it.
There was an actual separate trap. There was a separate trap that was completely removed,
and the MPAA took it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it wasn't even the skinning scene that we saw in the film. No, it was completely separate. Someone else got his face torn off in this trap that was removed, and there was an entire scene between William Shank and Fitch's partner, the female officer.
Yeah.
That was completely removed. There's an entire the reason why the Fitch trap, the finger trap, was so jumpy is because of the MPA cutting the movie down. It was never initially like that, and I'm just like, wow.
Just ruining things.
Yes, very. But I can't watch it till tomorrow because Ash is at work. Daniel, thank you. Someone looks at you and asks you to show them the scariest movie you've ever seen. What's your pick? I'm going Halloween 78 or Insidious. I am going with The Exorcist. I still think The Exorcist is the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I'm going to tell you why real quick. Because it scared the shit out of me as a kid. Because the thought of being possessed. And as the father of two beautiful little girls, it scares me even more to think that I could be a parent in that situation and not be able to help my little girl. So for me, I'm going The Exorcist.
What a perspective. That's amazing.
It scared me as a kid. It scared me more as an adult. And I think it's still very effective to this day. So for me personally, Daniel, I'm going The Exorcist. What about you, Mr. Deathbreath, while Patrick tries not to die?
As much as I want to say Halloween, because that's what you're supposed to say, honestly, it would be Insidious. That movie, what The Conjuring did for Patrick, The Conjuring 2 did for Patrick, Insidious did for me. I kept imagining the old hag lady in the corner, imagining every dark space. I didn't sleep for a month. I had the lights on, and I'm still sleeping with the lights on, probably because of that movie. So, I mean, definitely Insidious, no question.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Patrick?
I know it's cliche to say, although there have been tests done of like the 100 highest rated horror movies of all time. This is the one that scared people the most by testing heart rates and everything. Sinister. Sinister was a movie that deeply unsettled me, but I think that's because I watched it so young and I'd never been introduced to movies like this before. Like I watched Sinister before I saw The Conjuring. And Sinister, that shit with Bughuul reminded me as well of the weeping angels from Doctor Who. Like the moving image when you're not looking at him and like the whole tape sort of shit. Sinister 2 fucking ruined it. They became snuff films. But Sinister, Ethan Hawke, the whole investigation side of things, it's fascinating. But when shit hits the fan, that sequence where Ethan Hawke is walking like regular speed, but the kids are walking slow-mo, masterful and incredibly unsettling.
That lawnmower scene messed me up.
I was just going to say, if you guys want to watch, I mean, I'll spoil it now. I'm going to spoil two things here in a second. I did a top 10 favorite jump scares. If you want to watch that on my channel, the lawnmower is it's the best. It is the best.
It's hard to watch. You're like,
And then
I'm thinking about writing a short story of Jamie Lloyd present day helping FBI track serial killers. I would love, please send me that on Instagram. I would love to read that because if we're talking about fan films, I'm going to spoil this. I talked about it a little bit on a friend's channel. We are writing our film about Giles Corey, but we're also doing a Pet Sematary fan film. And I can't wait for you guys to see this because it tells the story of the kids from the Pet Sematary remake with the masks on. And maybe there's some type of cult that kills people and brings them back on purpose.
I do want to throw it out. If you shoot near me, let me know because I'd love to be in it in some way, shape, or form or capacity. I actually acted for 5 years, got an agent, found out he was a dick, so I stopped acting.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm serious. Let's do it. What's the worst horror film you've ever seen? Again, Network, I have a video of this on my channel. You should watch it.
You had that one loaded, Patrick.
Number 1 is The Exorcist 2. The Exorcist 2 is really the worst horror movie I've ever seen in my life. I fucking despise it. What?
I burnt my Blu-ray of Jaws.
I hate it.
I hate it so much.
I hate that. And I try to be very positive, guys. If you notice,
hold
I'm
on, my cat lost my attention.
all about support, all about helping
you're getting
people.
Pussy?
But I can't stand The Exorcist 2. I think it's a terrible movie. There's nothing about it that I like at all. I can't say one positive thing about that film. Scariest movie, Exorcist, or The Day After. I agree. I visited the steps of Washington, D.C. The Exorcist is very scary, sinister. The family barbecue is nuts. Insidious from the opening title. You know, the Insidious scene that got me is when he's behind her.
Yeah.
Which is like, I saw him, and then she turns
what about
the
the scene where she's walking up the stairs into the baby's room, and then you don't see it at first, and all of a sudden it pans in, and you see that fucking shit asshole thing standing behind the baby crib, and I'm like,
oh, yeah, dude, that was wild. That
The Day After TV miniseries from the 80s. I have to watch that. I don't think I've ever seen that one, Jay.
Oh, yeah.
Ken, what do you think of The Conjuring 3?
Gosh, what was it?
It's okay.
Pet Sematary, the remake was awful. Disgustingly awful.
What? Great.
Yeah, that was such crap.
The Conjuring 3 was my number 4 on the list. So for me, it's right in the middle. I think it's not terrible. It's not great. I think it's good enough, but I think that it could have been better. Your dream casting for the Freddy Krueger role, I mean, if it wasn't Robert Englund, okay, Nene, before, are we talking about in a remake or if Robert Englund was never cast? I would love to answer this question, but I want to know if you're talking right now or in the past. The end jump scare before the credits in Sinister is my favorite jump. I can see that.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you look for in a horror film, and what is the one thing you can't stand? The one thing I look for, as silly and stupid as this sounds, I want it to be genuine.
Yeah.
When I watch a horror film, I don't want a bunch of cliches. I don't want a bunch of jump scares with no story. I want to be genuinely scared. And the one thing I can't stand is sexual assault or rape. That's the one thing for me that just, once I see the sexual assault or the rape, I get super bummed. I get really upset. You don't have to use that to scare people. And what I can put right on par with that is if you use real life situations. What I'm talking about is like Tales from the Hood 2, where they use the real story of Emmett Till.
And what is it? The murder of what was that fucking movie that came out based on the real life murders of oh fuck, what was it called? Rosemary's Baby director or partner. Oh fuck, what was it called? Hang on, I need to.
When you do stuff like, just like in the new Candyman, I'm not going to get too much into the Candyman reboot, but how they kept saying "say his name" as I say her name, reference, and they actually named the main character Brianna after Breonna Taylor. That's real life tragedy. I don't need to see that in film. It's sad enough in real life. Leave it there. Don't fictionalize it and use it for your own gain. It's just that's not for me. That's something that I really don't like.
Candyman. I thought it was so great.
So what about you? What's one thing you guys look for in a horror film, and what's one thing you can't stand?
The Haunting of Sharon Tate is what I was talking about.
Yep, and that's in the comments. Yeah. She knew, man. She fucking knew.
Fucking garbage.
What is the one thing you look for in a horror film and one thing you can't stand? Let's start with you, Patrick.
Good characters that aren't fucking stupid. I'm tired of the fucking trope of characters making dumb decisions constantly. Sure. One thing I've enjoyed about both of these previous 2 Halloween movies, which I can't talk about much, but Karen, Laurie, and Allison are both very smart characters who do make good decisions. They're not dumb. They don't just run away or whatever. And granted, Halloween Kills and 2018 definitely do have them, but this is the prime characters. I'm tired of seeing the whole final girl trope where they're the only smart ones. Yeah. Give me more characters that are smart. One thing I liked in Halloween Kills, while the mob and everything were kind of, I'm not.
Remember, don't get too spoilery.
No, I know, I'm not. But at least they're fighting back, not being too stupid.
Yeah,
and you do, at a certain extent, understand their motivation
Totally, yeah.
Certain things. And that's one thing I am tired of seeing in horror films. The dumb characters who kind of just sit there and get killed that are there to create a body. Yes, they are in there like that in Halloween Kills and Halloween 2018. They are there for the body count, but they have their own right and they find other use for them in the meantime.
Sure.
And one thing I can't stand in horror films, funny enough, when Saw is my favorite fucking horror series, is over-the-top gore. But
that's interesting.
Saw, at least with its traps, has realistic amounts of gore because of the scientific stuff that if you've ever looked behind the scenes of Saw, they tried to make the gore as realistic as possible with their practical effects. And they did the right amount of gore and blood. If it was too much or too little, they would actually reshoot it. If you didn't know, they reshot the coffin trap from Saw 5 multiple times because it was too much and too little until they got it right for what it would actually be like. They ended up doing so many different casts and molds and shoots of the aftermath of Agent Strum to see what would be the most realistic aftermath of him after being crushed in Saw at the end of Saw 5, leading into Saw 6.
I love that ending. That was so great.
I don't like Saw 5, but I love the ending. But the reason why I can handle it in Saw is because they actually take a realistic approach to the amount of gore, violence, and aftermath. Whereas other movies, it's too much, like Wrong Turn or, The Hills Have Eyes 2, which was even too fucking much. There are so many movies out there where the gore just goes too far, where it takes away that believability in the film to be able to get me invested in what it's trying to convey. So therefore, it kind of just ruins the experience and me being connected to everything.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Death Breath?
Oh my gosh. One thing I look for in a horror film is really good dialogue and believable situations. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind the fantastical. I don't mind that Michael's unstoppable, Jason's unstoppable. But my problem is when someone should be loading the shotgun to fire another shot, they decide to, drop it and pick up a tree branch. What the hell are you doing, dude? That drives me nuts. And really, dialogue kills me. The reason why I have such a bone to pick with Rob Zombie as a filmmaker, I love him as a musician. It's great music. But his dialogue drives me nuts. When you have a girl and she's standing and turns around and someone goes, "That girl's got a nice stumper." I'm you lost me for the entire film. You know what I mean? I've seen everything he's made except 31. Yeah. And I have no hope that he's ever going to make anything decent. So far, the most racist film he's made for me was basically his Rosemary's Baby type inspired film, which was, Lords of Salem. And his stuff is awful. So really, it's just I need realistic situations that make sense, not just for the sake of convenience in terms of plot and story. And then dialogue needs to be on point because terrible dialogue just ruins everything for me.
I agree.
Yep.
Worst horror movie, Nail Gun Massacre. Thank God I've never seen that. Ken, have you played Resident Evil Village? I have not, but I have it. A good friend of mine that may be on this chat kind of steered me away from playing it, but I will give it a chance someday.
It's not good.
Between managing a store and doing YouTube and being dad, it really is hard for me to do that as much as I would like to, but I would like to. Dreamcast
played it all in
for a remake Freddy. When do you think we could get a new movie? I'd say within the next 10 years we'll have a new Nightmare on Elm Street, and I would. You guys may laugh at me, okay? I would love, and I mean fucking love,
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. Welcome to my world, motherfucker. No, I would love to see Devon Sawa cast as Freddy Krueger.
Oh, snap. That is out of nowhere. Okay. That is brilliant. I love it.
Yes. Devon Sawa, I think, is one of the most underrated gems we've ever had. And I would love to see him do Freddy Krueger. Who would you guys like to see?
I've got two. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he was Jason in Part 6.
CJ Graham.
CJ Graham.
No, not Part 6. Sorry. Other one. Fuck. Not Part 6 then.
Kane Hodder?
Part 8. Kane Hodder. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'd be a pretty good, really big, menacing Freddy. I don't know, just a different approach because, don't get me wrong, I love Jackie L. Haley, but it tried to be too much like Robert Englund. While having its own unique flair at times, especially the whole weird, your body says no, but
yeah,
your mouth says no,
but your body says yes. Granted, I love his voice as Freddy and his laughing going.
Yeah.
It was really creepy, but it felt too much like Robert Englund again. But I think Kane Hodder or Or I know he's already a horror icon, but his voice in particular, if he gets really angry, would suit it, and that's Brad Dourif.
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
I love it.
Brad Dourif.
If you guys haven't seen The Exorcist 3, watch Brad Dourif's performance as the Gemini killer in The Exorcist 3, and you could see how he could really play a fucking terrific Freddy.
What about what's his name? He was in Halloween 2007 as well. I know you don't like that movie, but what's his name? No. Malcolm McDowell would be interesting as well.
Yeah, he would be. I can see that one.
Imagine Denny Trejo as fucking Freddy.
I agree with you. Plot holes is the one thing that gets me really upset.
Oh my god.
I can't stand when Halloween steps in and makes Michael Myers the John Wick of slasher films. I need A24 to step in for Halloween Ends, get back to the roots of creepies. I wouldn't mind that. You know what? I don't hate A20. I don't hate A24. I don't hate Blumhouse, but I can't talk too much about this, Daniel, because not everybody has seen Halloween Kills yet. But there are a lot of issues I have with it, which I will be addressing in my full review here soon. But I do think we need to get back to the roots of Michael. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Which apparently they are going to do in the next one.
Sydney.
I'm curious.
Sydney.
Favorite final goal, Nancy.
Sydney.
Oh gosh, Nancy, she was so smart. Oh wait, and that's for my Freddy cast, Billy Zane, dude. Billy Zane would be an awesome Freddy. He's so awesome. He's so talented. He would make it so different that we'd never have this Robert Englund comparison. It would just be like, I love Billy Zane.
Yeah.
I met him once. He was super cool.
What about Doug Bradley?
Oh, fucking Pinhead himself, man.
Welcome to my nightmare. It'd be interesting.
This right here. Yes, I know the scene. Patrick, you need to watch Terrifier because then you'll saw right through this scene as well.
Oh my gosh, Terrifier.
Network disagrees with you, Patrick. Network likes Resident Evil.
Hey, you agree with me.
What do you think of the Nightmare remake? I discussed this earlier. I think that it had great ideas, and I love the ending. I think it's the best ending of any Nightmare film. But I don't like the CGI. I think that you watch the practical effects of the first one against the CGI of this one, like the hands and the face coming through the wall.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You know, like I think that the practical effects, you can't touch them. Even though it looks silly, but when Freddy's got his hands extended and he's in the alley and he's going after Tina, like those things, the practical effects of Nightmare on Elm Street, the original.
Granted, what is it? The mall, the supermarket scene is actually very, very good.
Yeah, well, because you're not seeing it's practically done. Like the practical effects in Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, are great. They're fine, but when you get to the CGI, it was too much for me, and I don't think it looked good at all. But I don't think it deserves the hate that it got. But it's just not. It's middle of the road for me. I could take or leave it. Have any of you guys seen Misery? Yes, that movie fucked me up as a kid. Love it to death. I think it's a great movie.
When
Maya,
she
you're probably already gone, but I hope you have an amazing night.
When she breaks his legs, that
you know what? Neil Patrick Harris, he does have similar Doogie Howser. He does have similar features to Robert Englund. I think that could work. And Neil Patrick Harris is a great actor anyway.
He wouldn't be going after the girls this time. He'd be going after the guys and wanting to slice off their wieners.
So it'd be like Nightmare 2. Have you seen Phantom of the Opera with Robert Englund? I have not, but I'm very intrigued.
Is that the original or the Gerard Butler one?
I don't know. If you could cross over two horror franchises, what would you choose?
The remake was later.
Mine would be Zombieland and Shaun of the Dead. If I could cross over two horror franchises, I'm going to let one of you guys answer first because I'm going to have to think on this one for a minute. Patrick, what would you cross over?
Child's Play and Halloween.
Man, Chucky would fuck Michael up.
Oh, that's what I mean. Chucky would have so much fucking fun. It would confuse the shit out of Michael. But Michael would do what I've been waiting for someone to do to this little fucker since the beginning and punt him out a window.
What about you, Mr. Death Breath? Who would you cross over?
Oh, gosh. Okay. All right. Dr. Weir from Event Horizon and Pinhead. Because they kind of have the similar goal of making everyone suffer and be interesting. Would they fight or would they unite? So that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
For me, a crossover. Well, I mean, we were supposed to get Child's Play on Elm Street, where Chucky was taken to a house on Elm Street, and I think that could be a lot of fun. Seeing their personalities clash with each other, I think that could be a whole lot of fun. But I'm going to go with a film that is supposed to be coming out anyway because I think it'd be a whole lot of fun, and that is
It's in pre-production. It's currently in pre-production,
which is Insidious and Sinister. They're supposed to be doing a crossover of those two franchises.
I can totally see that. It makes so much sense.
Kevin Bacon would also be an amazing Freddy Krueger.
This is not risky.
Could you imagine Texas Chainsaw and It?
Could you imagine Jason and It? Because Freddy, what is it? Pennywise
How about
would just
Freddy
like,
in It?
Nah, let's just Freddy and It.
Yeah,
that would be fucking
they both mess with your mind. That'd be amazing.
Well, that's just like saying, Pinhead and It. You know what I mean? Pinhead and Pennywise. That would be the ultimate mind games. Paranormal Activity and Nightmare on Elm Street. Think about that, because those two are almost exactly it anyway. Hey, Steven Sorrentino's here. This guy is the shit. World-renowned comedian, world-renowned impressionist. Just had him on My First Horror Movie. Steven, thank you so much. He has a movie coming out soon. You guys are going to love it.
Hi, Steven.
Thank you. This is awesome. Last comment. I'm sorry. I feel like Hell House LLC is underrated. Daniel, don't stop chatting, man. You don't ever apologize. We love having you guys in the comments. Please don't stop chatting. Keep talking with us. And Hell House LLC is underrated. Very fun. Chucky and Leprechaun. That would be fun. I got to hand it to you. They were supposed to do Candyman and Leprechaun. And Tony Todd was like, no, I'm good. So, guys, Mr. Death Breath, we are up to you in your number one. Will you recap number 8 through number 1 on the Conjuring?
Yes, sir. The moment I've been waiting for. Let me pull up my handy dandy list. Okay, so I'm just gonna start from 8, work my way up. Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, The Curse of La Llorona, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, The Nun, The Conjuring 2, and Maya or Sapphic. What's your name? Sapphic something?
Yep.
Yeah, well, this one's for you. Annabelle Comes Home. Okay, so here we go. It was the first Conjuring movie that actually genuinely frightened me, made me uncomfortable. I remember watching it in theaters, and spooky Sapphic, yeah. I couldn't get enough of it. I thought it was just so much fun. I love that, like, everyone did the dumb things. They're like, hey, don't go to this room. Don't do that. They touch everything. I love the bride. I love the ferryman. I love that bit at the end when they're trying to close the door and that demon appeared. I swear I felt my soul leave my body in the theater when that happened. I panicked where I was like, that's what happened to me at that scene. It was amazing. I didn't like the werewolf, but I loved that Bob had balls. I loved everything about it.
Bob has balls. I forgot about
everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I know there's no body count, but it is just so damn good. It blew me away. It's like the only saving grace of the Annabelle series. I mean, minus the concept being good. I mean, it's the best film in the franchise. I love it so much, and the whole universe. I love this movie so much.
And that's absolutely fair. So we'll get my number 8 through number 1, and then we'll do a quick Q&A before we leave for anybody that's still in the chat that wants to ask some questions. Number 8 for me is The Nun. Number 7, The Curse of La Llorona. Number 6, Annabelle Comes Home. Number 5, Annabelle. Number 4, The Conjuring 3. Number 4, The Conjuring 3. Number 3, Annabelle Creation. Number 2, The Conjuring. And number 1, Wise Men Say Only Fools Rush In, The Conjuring 2. I love everything about this movie. When Ashley and I watched this for the first time, I had such bad anxiety. We had to pause it for a little bit so I could get up and just take a walk. I have problems with anxiety anyway. Usually doesn't happen to me with horror films, but I had to get up and take a little bit of a walk. And, when you come to the realization that she faked it because they were going to hurt her if she didn't, was brilliant. That was such a brilliant way for this to get played in. And the way that they figured it out when they were on the bus and they played the tapes together, he won't let me go. That was so cool the way they played that out. And like you said, you had the family bits in the movie. Yep. You had the heartbreak over the mother that's going through all this. The cops that are like, well, check this out. They're like, fuck that. That was crazy. There was so much good about this movie that I absolutely adored. So for me, it has to be The Conjuring 2. We're going to catch up on the chat real quick. And if you guys have any more questions, ask us before we sign off. Damn, where's the love for the goat? None. Alex, you need to hit me up on social media so we can get together. Please, let's do an episode of My First Horror Movie together. I'd love to have you on the channel and learn how horror started for you. If you have any questions for either one of these gentlemen or myself, ask it now before we sign off. Patrick, when is your next stream, and will you ever go back to Twitch?
At this point, I honestly don't know. It takes up to 40 hours to edit one of my big long movie reactions. Like the reaction I did with Alex for The Hills Have Eyes 2, I'm still battling copyright with my sister's reaction to Spiral, but that's why that video wasn't out this week, and I did The Hills Have Eyes 2 instead. But that Hills Have Eyes 2 video was recorded on Saturday. I spent 10 hours on Sunday. I spent 10 hours on Monday. And I think I spent a good 4 or 5 hours on fucking, what is it? Fucking hell, Saturday after we'd recorded it, after Alex left mine. That's already like 25 hours, let alone the fact that yesterday I was going for an extra maybe 12 hours doing the editing, battling copyright as well. And that's the hardest part. And
no kidding.
It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Where those TV show reactions that I do for like Chucky and that episode 2 will probably be out tonight, and then Squid Game, which episode 2, 3, and 4 will be out later this week. Those ones don't take as long. Those take maybe 5-6 hours because those are like 50-minute episodes that I can cut down a little bit more because it's mainly just the best moments of the episodes. Whereas when it's the movie, it's a different matter altogether.
Sure.
For that reason, I don't have time to really stream anymore. I want to, but I just don't have the time.
Well, hopefully we can get you back out there once things like, and I know how hard it is. It's definitely not fun when it comes to the copyright issues. In the last few lives, I haven't really seen any love for The Descent. Movie is very scary and great acting. You're right.
My God, yes, 1 and 2 are amazing. They're so
good.
good.
The Descent is great.
Amazing movie. All female cast for the most part, and those ladies do an amazing job. And you want to talk about a movie that plays into the drama? That's another one. The drama in that movie is prime time. Very claustrophobic. What an amazing movie. Daniel, I have a lot of love for The Descent. Any movies that are great, that have female leads like that, deserve all the respect and love in the world. And I'm a huge fan of The Descent. I think it's very, very well. What was one horror movie that scared the crap out of you? Mine was Signs, even though it's not a true horror. The scene in Signs where the alien walks by, like that, that's so scary to me. And I do consider Signs a horror movie. People can say it's totally a horror movie to me. The Exorcist, that's one that I always go back to when it comes to what really genuinely scared me. I would say The Exorcist, and I would also say the Candyman, the original Candyman, when he's in that parking garage and he's like, Helen, like that really, really scared me, genuinely scared me to my core. What about you guys? What's one horror movie that really scared you guys?
Sinister. Yeah, no. I'm going to say Sinister again.
That's a good one.
It Follows. That movie just... It has the dumbest premise, but it's like literally sexually transmitted ghost. But I love that I can be hanging out with Ken and Patrick and be like, yo, do you see that yellow thing? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't see that? And you're like, no, and I'm just booking it and trying to get out of the country. It's so amazing, and it's just so subtle, and it just plays on that creepy, insecure feeling that you can't really describe, that uncertainty, like that thing staring at you that you don't realize is looking at you until it's too late.
Yeah.
I just love it.
It's brilliant.
Well, see, and my thing is, I've said this before, and if people have heard me say this on it live before, I'm sorry to sound like a broken record, but whenever someone asks me, what's a horror movie that you feel like you could definitely survive? It Follows is the answer. I've been with my wife for 16 years.
I'm the exact same because I never have sex.
I am safe and sound. Put me in It Follows every day.
At this point in my life,
I got is how good would a Dr. Loomis series be where it starts? I would love anything Dr. Loomis. I think anything Dr. Loomis would be fantastic.
I shot him 6 times.
Do you like Saw, and if so, which one? Because I don't like any of them. Patrick's about to hit the fucking roof. I'm not gonna say which one, because I do genuinely like almost all of them, but I'm gonna say Saw 3 is my favorite of the franchise. He's putting the spiral back up. What about you, Death Breath? Which one's your favorite?
I'm just gonna leave that right there.
You know what? I gotta go with 3, man, because 3 was so good. It really was. 2 and 3 are just phenomenal. Funny enough,
3 is my favorite too.
So, yeah,
what about you, Patrick? Which one's your favorite?
Saw 3's boring and over bloated.
Let me guess. Saw 3D. That's your favorite one.
No. For me, it's Saw. It's the original fucking Saw. Like, every single time I watch that movie, even though I've watched it at least once a month for the last fucking 10 years plus, I still find new shit in that movie upon every rewatch. And every time, that ending still affects me. But it's not the best twist. It goes to Saw 2. Obviously, the Saw 2 twist is the best.
Saw 3,
but that's so great.
I think Saw 1 is an overall better movie.
I mean, the acting in Saw is kind of spotty for me. Do y'all like Sam Raimi as a director? I can't say fuck yes hard enough to this. Evil Dead 2, like I said, it's the only horror movie to me that's better than Evil Dead 2 is House.
Oh my gosh, that ending for Drag Me to Hell messed me up for days, dude.
We watched it in in film class. I was the only one in film class who had seen it. No one else in film class had seen it. And then all of a sudden that ending happened. Everyone's looking over at me. I'm like, yeah. Fuck off. I knew it was
well, yeah, you got Drag Me to Hell. You got what was the newest one that he just did? Then he did the Spider-Man movies. He did Evil Dead. He just did something recently, damn it.
I'm looking it up right now.
He's been a producer for a lot of stuff. He produced Crawl. He produced the the remakes of The Hills Have Eyes. He produced the
Evil Dead remake.
He produced
amazing, by the way.
Don't Breathe. He produced as well.
Yep.
And Don't Breathe 2. By the way, did you know that the Evil Dead remake, not Evil Dead remake, the Hills Have Eyes remake sequel, Hills Have Eyes 2, was written by Wes Craven and his son.
Wow. Rest in peace to one of the greatest of all time.
But yes, anyway, to answer your question, my favorite
Send me a photo, Maya.
of all
Send me a photo,
time
please.
is House. My second favorite is Evil Dead 2. So, she's already ahead of you. Have you heard of? Oh, I love The Haunting Hour. Me and my kids watch The Haunting Hour. Yeah, absolutely. I love The Haunting Hour. Patrick, can I invite you to do a collab this Thursday? Not to put you on the spot, network, send him a DM on Twitter or Instagram because I just don't want to put him on the spot here.
But as it is, I'm booked out the next couple of weeks as it is because I know that Ken has me for the Child's Play kills ranking in a couple weeks. But other than that, like I've got work, I've got so many videos, I've got the Brisbane International Film Festival next week, and then all this shit. I'm booked out until like mid-December.
Yeah, I was gonna say I usually get a couple weeks in advance before I get the guys on, just because life is so hectic. Nothing disrespect. It's not that we don't want to work with you. Shoot any of us a DM on Twitter or Instagram. We'd love to work with you. We love working with anybody, but just usually we need the time to be able to do it. For me, The Descent or High Tension.
Descent.
I gotta go The Descent.
Oh man, I gotta say High Tension because that ending, man. I mean, they're both great, but if I have to pick, they're both 10s. But if I have to choose, it's just simply like I'm leaning this way. Nothing to determine which one's better. But I'd have to go with High Tension because that ending is bananas, dude.
For sure.
But they're both amazing.
Any y'all into or check out the Mandela catalog here on YouTube? I don't know what that is, but I'll definitely check it out. I know the Mandela effect scares the shit out of me. High Tension, when that guy knocks on the door, damn that. Yeah, that is a great movie.
Can we just appreciate my Tanjiro slippers from Demon Slayer?
I love it, man.
I love Demon Slayer. My cosplay arrived.
Saw as a classic. I'm so excited. Yes, I don't know if you guys seen this, but Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange 2, and they're taking it more in a horror. This could be the first horror movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so I'm very excited about that. Ken, what's your most overrated horror film? If you DM me, I can DM you that because I'll be working with some of my very good friends over at the Horror Show in a couple weeks on a live stream, our top 10 most overrated horror movies. So I don't want to give away my number one before the live stream network, but if you DM me, I will tell you in private. I can't even give you any hints on it. It's a movie that you all love, and once you find out that I don't even like the movie, you guys will probably shit on me. I watched Drag Me to Hell in the theater when I was 16, and we had an old lady next door, and I've never Oh, that's awesome. Dead Silence is underrated. Yes.
Oh, yes.
It is.
Yes, it
Beware
is.
the Stare of Mary Shaw. Listen, for those of you that are new to the channel, I have a podcast on the Sledgehammer Horror channel. Please hit subscribe if you haven't. Called Didn't See That Coming, where Ashley and I talk about movies with twist endings we didn't see coming. And
what a masterful stroke at the end.
For our Dead Silence episode, she actually did a whole ventriloquist get up on herself, and she was amazing. It was so cool. So check that out. We both love that movie very, very much. Patrick's foot scared me when you pulled up this. How would y'all rank the Scream franchise? Are you excited for Scream 2022?
Let me take this one, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this is how I'd rank the franchise. You ready? 1, 4, and fuck the rest. I hate the other ones. 2 is boring as shit. 3 is fucking retarded. I can't wait for the 2022 one. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, J-Dev is about to go fucking nuts because my dude J-Dev is a Scream 2 fanatic, and I love Scream 2.
It's so boring.
I do love Scream 2. How often do you live stream? I try to do 1 to 2 a week myself personally on my channel. I try to bring new guests on all the time. Tomorrow night, I'm actually doing 2 this week. Tomorrow night, my wife will be joining me again at 9:00 Eastern, as well as Josh Eppard, the drummer from Coheed and Cambria, which I'm super excited about. It's one of my favorite bands of all time. And Jay Krieger from the Daily Horror Habit podcast will be joining us tomorrow as we count down our top 10 Nightmare on Elm Street kills. So tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, to check those out. Ken, what do you think of the Purge series? I actually, you know what? The Purge franchise to me it started strong. It fell off at the end, but I really liked the TV series.
I'd rather jack off into a pool of, crying children with sandpaper than watch another Purge movie.
I like them. They're fun and enjoyable. They're not great, but they're fun.
Oh, I fucking hate. I haven't enjoyed a single Purge movie, and I am so over it. I'd rather jack off with sandpaper.
Prove it. But
wait, sandpaper or
I knew J-Dub was going to say shush. Yep. You got to watch yourself, Mr. Death Breath.
Hey, Mike, you still haven't sent me that photo. I'm still waiting.
My apologies.
It's not boring. I agree with you. Is tomorrow's stream going to be at the same time? Tomorrow will be at 9 Eastern. We had to push that one back an hour. Just because of the fact that Josh is doing a lot of rehearsals for Coheed and Cambria right now. So we had to push that back a little bit. Thoughts on the English horror film Doghouse? I have not seen that.
Never even heard of it.
Link us to that because I'd like to see it.
What is that movie? Yes.
Ken, have you seen The House That Jack Built? I have not. If, again, you could DM me that, I would love to see that. We're going to take a couple more questions, guys. It's 10:30 where I'm at, and I got my daughter ready to go to bed. I have a daughter with Asperger's, high-functioning autism, and she's ready for daddy to hold her and put her to bed. So we'll get a couple more questions. Awesome stream, guys. Love listening to horror fans that know their shit. See y'all next stream. Much love, Jay. You're here all the time. We love you, buddy. Thank you. Hannibal series thoughts. I think Mancini even directed some episodes. He did, and it was okay. I've never been a huge Silence of the Lambs. You talked about my overrated films. I'll tell you, Silence of the Lambs is on that list. Now, one thing I do want to make perfectly clear before you guys watch that episode, just because I think something's overrated doesn't mean I don't like it. I think that the Beatles are the most overrated band of all time. My wife walked down the aisle to Here Comes the Sun. So that's how much I like the Beatles. So, I mean, I like them, but I don't think they're the best rock band in the world by any stretch of the imagination. She said her phone died. It needs to charge before she can send you that picture, Patrick.
No excuse.
It's a zombie film where all the women turn into zombies and they eat all the men. I'll check it out.
That's so fun.
My favorite zombie movie is Zombievers. Just kidding.
Never
That
seen
fucking
it.
sucks.
That's
so
dumb. Thanks, J-Dead. Yeah, J-Dead is awesome. I love J-Dead. He's so cool. Guys, non-horror question, but what do you think is the best and worst Bond movie? The best is
not
actually,
the best person to ask.
Huh?
I'm not the best person to ask because I've only ever seen the Craig films and one Connery film.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you too, man. I've seen maybe a couple Brosnan films, a Connery film, and mostly Craig. But I have to say Casino Royale is freaking amazing. That's so awesome. And then everything else kind of just doesn't matter because I don't know enough.
I mean, I just like what's the first the one they had the Nintendo 64 game on? That was my favorite.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. Yeah, I love GoldenEye. But yeah, I'm not much of an action movie fan, so I'm probably not the best one to ask that to. But you know, I'll try my hardest to start a conversation with you. All right, guys. So we are going to get off here.
Hell yeah, Maya.
Before GoldenEye. Me either.
You're going to have to actually mail me that shirt, by the way. I'm going to be stealing that from you now. I'm going to have to steal that from you now. You're going to have to send
everybody, thank you so much for staying with us this whole time. I do want to remind you tomorrow night, I'll have Josh from Coheed and Cambria and Jay from the Daily Horror Habit podcast at 9 p.m. I really hope to see you guys there. We will have an amazing time. If you haven't, subscribe to Patrick, subscribe to Mr. Death Breath. These guys are awesome. I love them. I have the bell turned on for them. We all support each other. We message each other all the time with tips on how to be better. So we want you to support each other because we support each other. Do you think Rob Zombie's directing style suits a Texas Chainsaw Massacre film?
Yes, that's what he was meant to only do and nothing else.
Because I think he really suits Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw 1 and 2 are the only good ones. So go ahead, ruin the rest of it. I don't care.
And the remake.
Thanks for the entertainment. It was super fun. Thank you. Awesome job, Alex. Guys.
Thank you so much.
Came in at the end. Cult classic horror. Watch it. Hey, cult classic horror. Yes. Love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's so cool. Thank you. Cult classic horror. Check them out too. Awesome guys. And then Nene said, fun stream. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I hope to see you guys in the future. I'll have some really cool guests coming up on my first horror movie that you guys would like to see. So make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you're checking these guys out. Don't go anywhere, guys. We still got to talk a little bit. Everybody else, thank you so much for watching. J-Dev says he doesn't know if he can subscribe to Mr. Death Breath after that Scream 2 comment. I told you, J-Dev's going to be salty about Scream 2, man.
Look,
my boy Jay loves
Hey,
it.
J-Dev, Scream 2 is also my favorite, okay?
I actually think, I don't know
my ranking would actually go from worst to best. Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 2.
I go Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream 2. Scream 2 and Scream 4 are right neck and neck with each other. They're both amazing. And then
Scream 3 is the only one I genuinely don't like, though.
Which one?
I love
Scream 3.
I do like Scream 3. You know, I think that it has its flaws. But
Best part is Lance Henriksen.
Best part is Lance Henriksen. It's a fun movie. Yeah, guys, I hope to see you all tomorrow. Make sure, if you haven't already, follow me on social media. I answer every DM, every comment. I love to interact with you guys. You guys all mean the world to me. So until next time, guys, keep talking horror. Stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you.